I love to see the towns passing by and to ride these rails neath God's blue sky. Let me travel this land from the mountains to the sea, 'cause that's the life I believe He meant for me. And when I'm gone and at my grave you stand, say God called home your rambling man.
Welcome to Ramble Man Podcast episode number 48. This one is with Jason Snow and Shawn Poynter, and we discuss the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm hoping this episode is an okay one to get through. I think we were all a little bit tired, and we had delayed the podcast a bit, so we hadn't seen the last Marvel film in a while. But no excuses. Hopefully this episode doesn't suck. Our sponsor this week is Feral Giant. Feral Giant is a graphic design, illustration, and social media company, but work in all manner of creative fields. If you need photography, videography, podcasts, web design, hell, they'll even babysit your kids if need be. You can find them online at feralgiant.com or any social media at Feral Giant. Without much further ado, here's the shit show.
I'm going to deep throat it.
Oh, boy.
I did get that recorded, and that's how this podcast will start.
And that's how our friendships will end.
Nice
Yeah.
comment, Sean.
Yeah.
I almost had it. I almost had a great comment there. I'm mangled it.
Get used to that.
Start
Get used
again.
to 5 hours of that with Shawn Poynter. So I saw Draplin the other night, and he got up there and he's like, "All right, do you want speech one, which is prepared and written, and it's about my story and my history and all that. Speech two is about it's a little bit more heavy on the portfolio stuff, or do you want speech three, the wild card?" And everybody's like, speech three is like, all right, here we go. 7-hour speech coming at you. And then he kept joking throughout. He's like, all right, we only got 4 more hours, people. We only got 4 more hours. And he kept making fun of me throughout the speech, which was awesome.
Yeah.
It's always nice to be recognized.
Yeah, considering at the contract gig I have now, there are 2 guys that I know that walk right past me and do not recognize me, which I find fascinating.
Don't make eye contact. Not with the giant.
I'm just going to grab him on the ass.
It's sexual harassment, Jody.
I know. I got David Gailey with that today. I was standing on the stairs, and he made a comment. And I was like, dude, stop objectifying me. I work here now. I will take you to HR. And he's like, oh, Jesus. I was like, yep, this is how it's going.
Home run?
Home run. Yep,
Here we
home
go.
run, yeah.
Batter up.
Yeah. You
So
normally
I
go
assume
to the
sword
bathroom,
fighting.
and there's holes in the walls, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and hand lotion comes out.
God dang.
God, I hope my mom doesn't listen to this one.
I'm going to send it to her.
Actually,
I'll
it's the
talk to
one
her
I'm
pretty often,
recording
so
next week with Krista, where she is interviewing. Krista, I sent you her information. Will Hoyt, where she's going to, she has a potential big client for you.
Oh, that's cool.
But she's going to interview me about dating.
Ooh.
I told her 2 stories, and she was like, I'm in.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, God, here we go.
Not something Jody's heard often.
No, not often because,
What's your mom's name, Jody? If I want to email her, how would I get in touch with her?
her email is noneyourbusiness at fuckyou.com.
Hotmail.com.
At Hotmail.
At GeoCity?
That's actually probably...
At geocities.com. geocities.gov.
Livejournal.xxx.
Nah, just tweet at his dad. That way Kane sees it.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that's probably true.
I'll make sure she finds it. Be fine.
Awesome.
Yeah. Mrs. Collins. I'm sorry your son's
A
so
deviant.
disrespectful.
A deviant. I told a story back to her And she was like, no, I didn't. I didn't say that. I was like, yes, you did, Mom. It's like, which one of us has the better memory? And she's like, you do. I was like, yeah. Where at 19, she wouldn't let me look at boobies on the TV and told me to go to my room.
That explains so much.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I could see decapitations. I could see violence and all that shit, but I couldn't see nudity for whatever reason. So I was 19. I came home, and since we're talking movies tonight, segue, and there was a woman wearing a bra that was see-through, not even topless, see-through, and my mom was smoking her Virginia Slims, drinking her Mellow Yellow at 1 in the morning, and she was like, turn your head. And I was tired. I was like, Mom, not only have I seen a boob, I've touched a boob. And she never turned. She took a drag off that cigarette and went, go to your room. Said, yes, ma'am. And I
You're
went
like,
to my room.
gladly. Am I right, guys?
Now you're
You know
not
what I'm
going to
saying?
let her listen to this.
No, if I'm dirty, she can't hear it. It's not funny anymore. It's funny if she hears you
funny
being dirty.
Okay, so tonight I brought you here to talk about the wonderful trilogy of Sleepless in Seattle, when Harry Met Sally, and You've Got Mail.
Ooh,
This would be
I'm
an
kind
enjoyable
of in,
podcast,
actually.
actually.
Yeah.
With a bonus if we have time to talk about Serendipity in great detail.
I'm not sure I ever saw Serendipity. You ever seen Sliding Doors?
No.
Oh,
Good movie.
great movie.
Yeah.
Great with
I don't know that I'd say great.
Gwyneth,
It's a good-
right?
I'm going to cut
It's
off
got-
Sean's
it's got-
mic at this point.
I would say it's a really good rom com.
It's very good, but it has Gwyneth Paltrow in it.
I like Gwyneth, man. I like her. I know, like, she's crazy personally. Like, she has that weird, website.
Yeah.
But like, I think she's great. She's a great actress.
Stones and
She's so beautiful. I mean, she's like strikingly beautiful.
No.
Absolutely, yes. She is, right?
You and I
Like,
disagree
objectively.
on that.
Really?
I don't think. No.
And she's a good actress as well. I don't mean to like just make her one thing, but like, she's a delight.
she just doesn't have any emotional depth in roles. That would be my.
Sean's already tired.
You have a cot over there or something.
A cot. Jesus Christ. How old are you? Are
I
we in
I
the
have no
war?
se- I have no self-respect.
Are we in the
I
war?
only asked for a couch. I was like, oh, can I see one on your floor? You're like, I got a spare bed. Like, no,
Hammock.
I don't deserve it.
Like a hammock
Like a
Yeah.
hammock.
hanging up between the trees.
Jesus.
That's what Teddy calls it.
As he sips his very expensive alcohol.
I don't know. It didn't cost us anything.
That was cheap to me.
Honestly, it was a gift, so it didn't cost me a goddamn thing.
There
either.
you go.
Well, there you are.
So
I see how much we're worth.
No
yeah.
Thanks, Jody.
You're welcome. Did you all see Iron Man in the theater?
I'm not really comfortable with you knowing that.
No, I didn't see it. We did not see Iron Man, the first Iron Man together in the
We saw the
theaters.
second
Saw
one.
the second one and the third one,
Yeah, but not the
but
first
not
one.
the first one.
I saw the first one in the theater.
I'm pretty sure I saw the first one in the
Wait,
theater.
what was which was a bad one? 3? That was bad, right?
Two
was
was
bad.
the worst.
With the little kid and stuff.
3 was not. No, that was 3.
See, I don't like that one too much.
3 was not good either. It had some funny moments, but overall it was not.
So ranked, it was like number 1, number 3, number 2. That's your take, right?
No, it's almost like
1, 2, 3.
no, it's almost like
The 2 and 3 don't count.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
They
almost
also
like
didn't move the story along at all.
No.
right.
And I heard recently somebody talk about it and say the Iron Man 2, if you actually look at everything, it's the only one that they tried to do an honest to God just sequel. That they didn't wrap it into the bigger story, or they didn't let it be its own film. They
Weird.
tried to make it a sequel. I looked at that timeline. I still can't believe that Iron Man 2 came out. What was it, like second? Like it actually came
It's
out.
like 80,
Yeah.
like 87, right? I think.
Jesus Christ.
Didn't it? It's pretty old, huh, guys?
It came out
1987?
second. It literally was Iron Man 1, then Iron Man 2, and then all the rest of the Marvel films.
Is that true, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we
Whoa.
looked it up.
Yeah, we looked it up because I
No
thought
way,
it was
really?
after. I thought it was after Thor or after First Avenger.
Yeah,
Captain
Thor was after number 2. See,
Yeah.
I'm very ignorant about most of the Marvel universe, but like,
Because Thor was teased, and I'm not counting the Hulk
Oh.
films. I'm not counting the Hulk films at all.
well, yeah,
But Thor was teased in Iron Man 2.
Oh.
And
God damn it, I hate this. Anytime I try to look this up, it's trying to put them in chronological order. Like Captain America First Avenger was first, and then Captain Marvel. And then I was like, no,
Oh, got it.
that's not what I want.
Got it.
yeah.
Interesting. Oh, okay. Well, I'm probably gonna be a bad podcast member because I'm not too up on these movies, but it's all fascinating to me.
Have you seen all of
I've
them?
seen most of them. Yeah, I've seen most of the important ones.
That's all that matters.
I've not seen.
Have you still not
What?
seen Ant-Man and the Wasp?
I've not seen that one. Yeah, I missed that one. Which is
I take that back. It's Iron Man 1, The Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, and then Thor, Captain America First.
Again, I don't know that you can count the Hulk movies.
They still count it.
is
like,
it part of the universe though?
yes.
Yeah.
Is it
Technically.
what's his name? Who played him in the first?
No, it's not Ruffalo. It's
See?
Ed Norton.
I'll see.
And now you're ignoring the actual first Hulk film altogether. And
Well,
I think they look at it as if it was produced by Marvel Films. That's how they look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Which is,
that's fine, except
Yeah.
that story doesn't connect.
I actually like that movie.
I liked that movie a lot,
Yeah,
but it doesn't connect. Except for the super soldier serum.
Yeah.
It's in it, but it doesn't. It's not. The continuity doesn't work with what happens in the later movies.
No.
When was the first Thanos talk? When was he
Avengers
first?
1.
Really?
He was the post-credit scene in Avengers 1.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah. It was just he walked in, he reached in and grabbed the glove and walked away. There was no
Oh.
voice or anything.
Yeah, the first time he spoke was Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
And I don't think it was Brolin. I think it was somebody else. And then,
So I just watched that movie.
yeah.
If it wasn't Brolin, it was super close. Like
Okay.
the voice was the digital overlay wasn't as cleaned up,
Right.
but the voice was spot on. So I meant to go look it up and see if it was Brolin.
Was
But
it the same face though?
it was, yeah. It had the same general.
So they knew it was him. They knew he was going to play Thanos in, right? It seemed like
yeah,
because that's his face,
right.
you know.
And it was the same face.
Yeah, I bet it was him. If I were a guessing man,
Who do we want to bet on it?
I bet the next round.
okay,
Jesus.
I'll double, call and double,
Uh,
ante up.
Let's see. Josh Brolin.
Do I need to get my phone out because yours is
No.
lagging?
No, I'm just I'm skirting through Jonah Hex and True Grit to get to it. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
It was him. He was uncredited.
Ooh,
For some reason, maybe he was in it, but he wasn't announced.
Yeah.
That may be what it is.
oh right.
Because it was definitely him. Like,
Okay.
the face was similar enough,
Mhm.
and the voice, it wasn't the Thanos voice. Like, it wasn't Josh
Right.
Brolin being Thanos. It was just Josh Brolin's voice.
Yeah.
Huh.
But
Okay, so Sean, you've seen most of them in the theater.
I've seen most of them. Period.
Most of
Not-
them, period.
Yeah, yeah.
And you've seen all of them, right?
I have seen all of them, yes.
I think the only one I didn't see in the theater was Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I did not see it in the theater. I saw it on an airplane.
Oh, Jesus. I saw the...
Hey, I was in first class. It was great.
Okay.
Mm.
Braggart. The first Ant-Man I wasn't thrilled by.
Oh, that was cute.
But I also think it's one of those stupid things and then I should not have read all the backstory bullshit. So that it was originally written and going to be directed by Edgar Wright, and then it was kind of split. So there were two different films going on in it. Ant-Man and the Wasp, so I rewatched it recently. It's better than the first viewing for whatever reason. They did a good job with Ghost. It really moves forward.
Mhm. It was very quick. Like,
Yeah.
the pacing of that movie was quick.
And
And
the
there was a-
humor fit better than in the first one, I
Yeah.
felt like.
Well, in the first one, the only funny person really was Paul Rudd.
No. One more. Michael Pena.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah,
Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
Okay.
Somebody said Marvel should have had him recap the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe before Infinity War.
Did he get snapped?
We don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's one of the. I'm guessing so. Because of Endgame, because Paul Rudd didn't seek him out or didn't find him. Okay, so seen all the films. What's funny is I looked at this list and it even put in there like Daredevil and Luke Cage and all the TV series. And I have finally caught up to where I've seen all of the TV series now.
I've seen at least one season of all of the TV series. I have not finished all of the TV series.
Have you finished all the TV series?
Not at all. I've seen 2 Daredevils and 1 Punisher, I think.
Oh, you didn't watch Luke Cage season 1? Luke
No.
and Jessica Jones season 1's great.
I've seen part of that, but I didn't finish it.
I still hold up Daredevil season 2 as the best out of all of them.
Huh.
With the Punisher. Like Jesus.
Oh, yeah, that was the best. Yeah, for me, it was the best. That was great.
It was,
Uh,
but I don't like what they did with.
Kingpin. Or Elektra.
Elektra.
Yeah, the Elektra storyline was terrible.
Yeah. See, I like the third season better because I really enjoy what they did with Kingpin.
Chloe vehemently disagrees with you on that.
Yeah.
She prefers season 1. She's a purist.
I think she liked the
Purebred.
Ben Affleck one.
Yeah.
Ooh.
No, don't say that about Chloe, man. That's mean. That's just mean. Now, I have always heard that the director's cut of that film is actually really good, but I'm good. I don't ever need to see that.
You mean you don't want to see Colin? Help me out. What's
Firth.
his name?
No.
Colin
No.
Farrell.
Farrell. I knew it wasn't. I kept thinking Colin
I know.
Firth, but that was not right.
Although
brother.
I would pay good money for him to be CGI'd in place of Colin Farrell
As Bullseye.
as
Pip,
Bullseye.
pip, pip. I
Pip, pip.
do say, Governor.
Although, have you seen both the Kingsman films?
Yes.
They're fucking awesome.
The first
Yes.
one I've seen, not the second one.
Have you seen the announcement about the third? We're way off topic. Have you seen the announcement of casting for the third one?
Ooh.
No.
You need to go look that up.
Okay.
Give us a little sample. Give us a taste. Give us a little sugar.
I saw it today. I'm pretty sure it was Liam Neeson
Ooh.
and somebody else. There was somebody else that was announced.
Oh, it's just Oscar winner Anthony Hopkins. I'm just kidding. Can we still talk about Liam Neeson at this point?
What was he accused of?
Uh-oh.
No, he. Did you not hear his interview where he talked about going and trying to attempt to kill a black man?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I heard that.
Oh,
Yeah,
I did
that-
not hear that.
Yeah, that was a little.
Oh. Well, then never mind.
Yeah.
Moving on. We'll cut this segment.
No.
It's interesting. He was talking about like how he's changed since being a young man.
Young and
But
angry.
man, did it in a really weird way.
Okay.
If you're trying to make your case for yourself, you really kind of.
Okay, this is weird. It's going to be a prequel,
Yeah.
and it's going to have Aaron Taylor Johnson, who's in Kick-Ass. Did you see Kick-Ass?
Mm-hmm.
Matthew Good,
Ralph Fiennes.
Ralph Fiennes, Charles Dance, Stanley Tucci, Daniel Brunel, who was the bad guy in Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
God damn, there's a lot of good people in it. Reese Infants, Tom Hollander. There's a lot of good people in this.
But Liam Neeson has been cast, just for the record.
Okay.
I was not crazy.
So it seems that with the Marvel films, everyone holds them up like they're the greatest films ever, especially when they want to shit on the DC films. And I've long since stood by that. I think there's maybe 5 or 6. Well, that's harder to say now because the last 2 were so fucking good. But there's only a few really good Marvel films.
Ooh,
That's
Iron
my
Man
hot
1.
take. That's my
hot take. Yeah.
So the first Iron Man.
The first Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Although I bump it down a notch or two, I don't think it's great. I think it's good.
I think it's good. I don't think it's great, but
Yeah.
I'm not going in any order here.
Wait, you mean like great as a movie or great as a superhero movie? Because that's a different scale, right?
The only one that
I think great is a superhero movie.
Okay.
Yeah. The only one that I would lean might be just
See, because Kevin Smith he still thinks Iron Man's a perfect film.
It's pretty great.
It really is because it had never been done before.
No.
Like superhero films hadn't been done like that
Nope.
before.
What's the difference, you think? How is it different than other ways? Funny?
It's more human. It's
It wasn't the X-Men because the X-Men they have powers and
yeah.
the world that they live
they're
in
so
is not our
serious, too.
world. Yeah.
And
like,
you get to
ugh.
see him be humbled.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like Superman where you're
Yeah.
it's
right.
not an origin story. It's an origin story told in a different way.
But like Batman Begins was before Iron Man, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was
Yeah.
kind of similar, but it wasn't humorous at all.
It had no humor.
Also
it
very
was,
grim.
It was very
great.
dark. It was great.
great.
It was a great movie. But I will say the difference with it was, in my opinion, I don't think he was ever humanized
Yeah.
No.
in those films. Whereas Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. was Tony Stark. Like
Yeah.
that just
Yeah.
worked.
And there's no moment in The Dark Knight where you cheer,
Yeah.
right? There's no like hero moment really.
No.
The only downside to Iron Man 1 was they didn't actually. So in the previews, there's a moment where he like fired this tiny little missile onto the tank
Mhm.
and turns around. They play Iron Man. Like that's the most like beautiful. That's the most perfect scene. But
That's
it
in
wasn't. I don't think it was. That
Yeah,
was in the
that's in the movie.
Yeah.
But it wasn't Iron Man. They didn't play Iron Man over it. I don't think.
No,
They played a
no.
different-
They played like a score. Or
Yeah,
something.
but a score over it. But like the Iron Man, that was the most perfect scene. Like
Yeah, but I don't think I could get rights for it.
In
But-
the
but
they did, but
surely
they saved it for the end because I think it was
well,
the
they
minute
messed
he
up.
s-
Then they messed up.
I think it was the minute he said "I am Iron Man," and it's kicked into the song
okay.
Iron
Oh, okay.
Man.
Okay, well.
Like they saved it for the end. But I know the scene you're
I mean,
talking
I don't think Iron Maiden or I don't think Black Sabbath is like really too picky about. Who they
Well,
give.
that's one thing
It's
I
like,
thought.
oh, you have the money, the check clears.
Yeah.
All right,
Fair.
Volkswagen, let's do this.
Not to use a Sean pun when I say a misfire.
Mm-hmm. I like that one. I approve.
I think it was Iron Man 2. They made such a big deal that AC/DC was going to be the soundtrack to the film.
Ugh.
And it was just, it felt so fucking shoehorned in that I was like, I can't, no. I love AC/DC. I like the Iron Man films.
You know what? Like one song, that's great. Pick one. They have like 10 good songs. Pick one song.
Oh,
that
I'm
should be.
going to
That should
fight
be.
you on that. They have more than 10 good songs.
I mean, they have 10. Nah, I'll fight you on that for sure. Like, not physically, obviously, but like, mentally.
Mentally.
I'll argue with you about that. 10,
You'll spar
10
with
seems.
words.
Also, 10 seems high. I mean, like great rock anthems. They have 10, maybe 10 great rock anthems. Like that actually are awesome. Highway to Hell. Dirty Deeds is like 8. Name some. Like, help me out here. I'm missing.
You're
How-
out of my
Highway to Hell.
That's the top, right?
yeah.
Back in Black. Those top. That's
Back
the top
in
two.
Black.
Back in Black.
Top two.
Okay.
For those about to rock,
We salute you. That's 3. That's top 3. Dirty Deeds, maybe 4 or 5.
Dirty Deeds.
That can't be 4 or 5. That seems high.
Wait, why don't I just pull them up on my phone? Because
Yeah,
I have.
because if they're
Because
gonna
that's cheating. So that's
no
a
fun.
great point.
That's enough fun. Yeah. See,
Though,
if you can't name
if
10,
you
they aren't
can't
really great.
name 10,
Right.
then
I
they
can.
Thank you, Jason.
It's a long way to the top if
But
you want to
you're
rock
right.
and
He's
roll.
like, see, you
rock and
keep-
roll singer. If you want blood, you've got.
I've never
it.
heard rock and roll singer in my life. That's not
Let
a
There
great
Be
song.
Rock.
No,
Let
that's not a
There
great
Be
song.
Rock is
Nope.
great. Baby, please
Nope,
don't go.
Nope.
Baby Please Don't Go is actually a great song.
I've never heard it. I don't think it's not.
But
You've never
I
heard
would
I mean,
rock.
still-
like- I mean,
You've
like-
never heard rock and roll singer? That's a great fucking song.
It's not that great.
I don't think
Yeah.
I've ever
I mean,
heard it
if you've
either.
never heard it by this point, it's been 40 years. Like,
no, this goes into the. God, we can get off topic. That's something I didn't forewarn you about. We can get off topic. It's fucking rambling, man. That's a problem. So, neither one of you have lived here long enough for this. Back in the day when it was like WIMZ and it was, classic rock radio,
Mhm.
they played the same 3 AC/DC songs over and over again. They played the same 2 or 3 Led Zeppelin songs over and over again. They, it was Creedence, everybody. They played Tom Petty. They played the same 3 songs over and over and over again. And then a radio station came in 98.7, the X, and they start playing more deep cuts or longer songs that you couldn't get away with on modern rock
Two
radio.
Live Crew, that kind of shit.
No.
Also, hot take: Led Zeppelin way overrated. I think, right?
I
That's
think
true.
with everything that's come to light, yeah, it's kind of hard to not argue
What's coming to
that.
light?
That they just stole all the music.
Oh well, yeah, that makes sense.
It
Yeah.
does.
But I mean,
It does, but as musicians themselves,
they are great
they
musicians.
were great
And
musicians.
it's hard to-
And they have 3 all-time songs. They have 3 to 5 all-time rock songs, right? But their deep cuts are garbage. It's like Queen. The Queen deep cuts are trash
Dude, I will
cans.
fucking fight you over
That's-
Queen, man.
By my bicycle song. Come on, man.
Turn your mic.
Turn
like
your
this
mic.
way. No. There you
Like
go.
that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Is that better?
That's butter. Goddamn, dude. Man, you're all
I'm on
piss
fire
and
tonight.
vinegar.
Yeah,
I
I
shouldn't have
don't-
gave you that Woodford, man.
Okay, I'm going to go a slightly different direction. The Marvel films, the only one with a truly great soundtrack
Oh, here we go.
was Guardians.
That's true. Absolutely true.
Now, I will say Black Panther's soundtrack was amazing,
Yeah.
What's that soundtrack?
but it does not stand outside of that,
Is it a
with the
score?
exception of a couple of songs.
It's a mixture. It's a score, but it's also songs made specifically for Black Panther.
Oh,
It doesn't use classic tracks. It actually, they made songs.
Yeah, and it was really...
It's really good.
Who
It's wonderful.
scored that movie? Do you think? Is
It's
it-
the same guy who did Creed. He does he produces all the music for Childish Gambino. His name's
Oh,
like
wow.
Ludwig Göransson.
It's a good name.
And
Solid name.
The fucking Creed score and soundtrack is amazing.
Bum, bada, bum, bada, bum, bada,
Yeah.
bum, bada, bum,
God, we can go
bada,
down that
bada,
rabbit hole of
bum,
Creed.
bada, bum,
Did you
bada,
see the
bada,
Rambo?
mhm.
Yes.
Last Blood?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
I don't know, but I'm excited.
I'm all in.
Is it new?
Yeah,
There's a new one.
Is it
Last Blood.
Stallone?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
And he doesn't look as weird as he looked in the last Rambo film. Like he just looked.
He looks old now.
Yeah, he
It
just
works.
looks grizzled.
Yeah.
He just looks grizzled. Did you watch the Terminator trailer?
No.
what?
There's a new Terminator, and it actually
Is it Arnold?
looks- it's more Linda Hamilton. Oh. Yeah. See?
That's tough.
It's more Linda Hamilton.
So what is the plot of the First Blood, Last Blood thing?
You've seen Rambo, right?
Oh yeah, I've seen
So
all
that-
Rambos. All Rambos.
So that was First Blood.
Yeah.
So it's going
Second
to
Blood.
it's going to end the story.
Yeah, I've seen Young Blood. Is that one of those?
That's a hockey movie. Starring Rob Lowe.
Is it really?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
From the 80s.
Come on, Young Blood. So I've seen all the Rambos.
So I think it's going to be the first story. It's going to conclude the first story rather
Yeah.
than because like Rambo 2.
2 and 3 were ridiculous.
Yeah.
Dude, 2 though was great.
So,
For my age at the time, I was like
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
12
I mean,
or whatever.
if Hot Shots can
yeah.
create an entire series of movies based on that one film,
Right.
Well, that's
True.
like, okay, so Tommy Smith and him and another guy and I had an argument over ranking the first 3 Mad Max films.
I've not seen the first 3 Mad Max films.
Have you not? I said the first one's the best one. Tommy said the third one's the
Oh wait, no,
best one.
I've seen what's Thunderdome. I've seen that one.
That's the third one.
I've seen that one.
And the other guy was like, no, the second one, Road Warrior, is the best. I was like,
See, I've seen Road Warrior.
the first one is the best.
I don't know that I've seen the first one. I've seen Road
It seemed
Warrior.
really slow to me.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
but none of them
crappy.
are as good as Fury Road. Fury Road's fucking impeccable.
Yeah,
It was
too many
fine.
strong women for me.
Oh.
It was fine.
I'm already pissed at him, man. Come on, man.
It was fine. The
Agree. Yeah.
like
But it
from
was
a from
shot
a
beautifully.
it was shot beautifully.
Yeah.
It had a great cast of characters. I just honestly I felt like the story
Oh.
was
Well, yeah.
non-existent.
I'll give you that.
And
Yeah,
that,
but they went from here to there and then back to here.
right. And
Yeah, it's,
I thought it was how it was shot and everything, like the
Well, yeah,
violence.
it's a beautiful
The
film. It is
violence
beautiful.
and stuff was how it was shot was amazing.
It's
but it
my
doesn't make it a
favorite of the two
great
I've seen.
film.
No.
right. I mean, the other 3 to me was like 80s schlock.
Yeah.
And this is an actual like movie.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, it was so over the top and it's like dumb and extreme. Like all that, like the guitar guy in the front of the thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
this is great. This is like,
Yeah, it's a fun.
do this.
It's fun, but there was no plot. And if you don't, so it's like the 3 Hobbit movies, right?
Here's where we
They-
get on the soapbox.
They took one short book
They'll
and
take-
tried to stretch it into 3 films for money, and they lost story. And
Yeah.
if you lose story, you lose film.
Have
and
you
then
seen
lose,
the Hobbit
and then you
films?
lose hope. No.
I liked the first one. I thought 2 and 3 could have essentially been one shorter film.
Yeah.
Like they fucking
Wait, like Lord of the Rings, right?
Lord of the
I've
Rings.
I've seen those 3.
Yeah,
But
and
I've
that's-
not seen the Hobbit.
That's fine. You're missing nothing.
Okay.
I think the first one is fun.
You know,
It's fun. It's
It's fun.
enjoyable, but
Yeah.
it's still. It should have been one movie.
so what is the message? Here's my hot take. I think that this is probably a cold take. I think that Fury Road is actually a really good movie with a decent plot because,
It's a very simple plot.
well, but like, yeah, it's about like hope and about like, what happens when your hope, dies. How do you make your own? How do you make your own narrative, and how do you make your own story? You know what I'm saying? Like it's like a redemption story, sort of.
On the flip side, it is more like the first film.
Yes, they
Okay,
are
I'll
just
take my-
dropped in.
Yeah.
I'll take
Yeah.
your answer off the air.
Yeah. Wait,
Long
first
time
time, long
caller.
time.
Yeah.
You beat me to first time, long time. That's what she. Never mind. Okay, so going back to the Marvel film. So my hot take is I think there are a few really good Marvel films. I am
Are
also.
Are there
knows.
more good Marvel films than there are good AC/DC songs?
Oh God, you fucking
Like
asshole.
3 or 4?
I think there are less good Marvel films than there are not great ones.
Okay.
That's my hot take.
Wait, say it again. What?
I think there are less good ones than not so great ones.
Got it. Okay.
If you just look at them from not a
okay.
greatest film like Citizen Kane of all time,
Right.
Just from like from the comic book film world.
Yeah. Okay. So give me like your top 3.
Top 3.
Iron Man, Avi.
Nope.
Really?
No, my number 1 is Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Oh.
Now that one I actually think is a great film outside of being a superhero film.
I think it's a really good film,
Yeah.
but again, because you can't do that film without the first film,
Yeah.
and so to me that limits it.
Yeah, I think the 3 Captain America films may be the 3. It's the best in the series. Like if you looked at Thor as the series, if you looked at the Avengers
Yes.
as a series,
Okay.
if you looked at
Yeah, Winter Soldier is definitely.
if you look at Iron Man as a series, like Captain America, I think Winter Soldier it's a throwback to a 70s kind of espionage film.
Mhm.
And it has a lot of good plot twists and turns, and a lot of good action. Like the elevator scene is amazing.
Yeah.
The tight quarter,
Yep.
it's crazy.
Where do you rank it in regards to like Catwoman, for example?
So here's a hot. If we're going to go into DC world,
That was a j- that
so
was a
I know
joke.
he and I agree on one thing, but I will go on another thing. In going back and rewatching, I don't like the 3 Christopher Nolan films as much as everybody gives them credit for.
I would agree with that.
I actually don't like Dark Knight as ever. Everyone's like, no, it's the best. I was like, I think it's
Which one?
The Dark Knight.
The first one?
No,
Second
the
one.
second one.
Oh.
The
With
one
Heath
Heath
Ledger.
Ledger. I honestly think
Oh,
it's
right.
Heath Ledger is so great,
Yeah.
and it has like 5 amazing scenes.
Yep.
But there's a lot of lag.
Yep.
Well, the problem is once, I mean, it was kind of like they shoehorned in Two-Face. That whole
Yeah.
thing, like that should have been a separate movie or just cut.
Yeah.
But like when the Joker dies, you're like, all right, we're done. All right, we're done. Credits. Let's go home. And then it's an extra like half an hour or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, come on, man. You're spent.
Although I
It's
will
too
say
long.
that creates one of my favorite scenes in the film, which is the last scene where it's Commissioner Gordon explaining to his son about how Batman has to be a villain now because that's what they
Oh.
need. I think that speech and that scene and how he
Hmm.
put a button on that film is amazing But I think that's also. I think there's a lot of films to where if they end really well, you forgive a lot of what came before it.
Yeah, which
Yeah, I would
is
agree with
kind of a
that.
cheat, though, right? I
Which
mean,
is why a lot of people hate Indiana Jones Part 4. It's because the ending is fucking abysmal. The whole movie is not good, but that ending is so bad. that everybody's like, what the absolute shit is going on?
is that with what's his name?
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, who seems sable and pretty cool.
Yeah, he's a stable genius. But yeah, the Marvel. I don't know what it is. I think Iron Man 2 and 3 are not that great. I think Thor 1's not that great.
I liked Thor 1.
See, I think Thor 2 is better than everybody shits on it, but I think it's an easy target. Like I think if you went back and watched it, I think you and I have discussed about if I went back and watched Doctor Strange or Black Panther, I would like it more.
Yeah.
Whereas I think if people go back and see Thor Part 2, it's better than you think. And I am also of the camp that I didn't like Thor 3 Ragnarok as much as everybody else
I
did.
did not either.
I did. That was pretty
It's
great.
a fun movie, but
It was-
it's not.
Well, it was the most true to like actual Norse mythology, where he's just like a fucking kind of a dick,
Yeah.
and it's like loosey goosey because he knew he wasn't gonna die. Like, I mean, he's a god. I mean, or a demigod.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, to me, it's more just like historically fun.
I think it tried to be too damn funny.
Yeah, which
And
I
that
enjoyed
was
it.
annoying the shit out of me.
Yeah, I like it. Live a little, man. No levity. You know.
Look, man,
Jody
all
has
I
trouble with smiling.
look,
Fine.
man, all I do is I watch Unforgiven and Citizen Kane on loop.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Rashomon thrown in for
Yeah,
good
give me
measure.
a few yucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rashomon.
Yeah.
Because that's an uplifting story.
Mhm.
Yeah, of course. Seven Samurai, man.
Have you ever seen Eight Samurai, the sequel? It's not as good. It's okay.
God.
But also, best soundtrack of the whole series.
Oh my God! In that did you all see the Magnificent Seven remake with Denzel and
Yes.
Chris Pratt? It
Yes,
is
I did.
Fucking awful.
Yes.
Really? With,
Yes, it
Chris
is.
Pratt?
Chris Pratt.
Really?
Chris Pratt's actually pretty good in it.
Ethan Hawke and Vincent D'Onofrio are really good in that film.
I would agree.
But I think it's too much swagger. Like they walk around with swagger the entire film.
It's like that's a movie no one was asking for to be made.
No.
Like, I mean, it was
No.
such a classic, such a great. I mean, it's so perfect.
Yeah.
That's Peckinpah, right?
No.
No.
It's
Leon.
no. It was the guy who did The
Oh
Great
for Two.
Escape. I can't remember his name, but it's not somebody that's a huge director, but
Yeah.
he did a bunch of
Okay,
big scale
but
films.
that was so perfect. I mean, it was a great film,
Yeah.
and like, why mess it up, man? Why like, I don't know, man. It's just so weird. What
It's one of
I
the-
get that confused with Magnificent Seven. What is the other one that's similar to that? Like in that same era, and I think it was a Peckinpah.
Oh, you're talking about The Wild Bunch.
The Wild Bunch.
Yeah.
I got it mixed up a lot, but like
The Wild Bunch is great. too.
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those weird things in that I think if you want to look at a modern film that feels more like Magnificent Seven, go back to the remake of Ocean's 11. Because you have a bunch of actors when they're on the
yeah.
young front end,
Yeah.
and that's how Magnificent Seven was.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the people who were in that film were starting out or early in their career.
I think a lot of people forget that about Ocean's 11.
Yeah. Because Matt Damon, it was pre-born, so he was actually on a weird, not downhill, but he had done Good Will Hunting and then went and done a bunch of artsy films.
Yeah.
But Clooney and Pitt were
Clooney and
still.
Pitt, yeah.
And Julia Roberts.
Yeah.
But even Clooney, that was early on in him becoming. That's one thing that set him to be an actual leading man star.
Yeah, because before that he was TV.
Before that, the only movies it
He
was
was in
like
the,
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
What's the one with J Lo?
Oh yeah. Oh,
What was
I
it
like
called?
that.
Oh, Out of
that was
Sight.
Out of Sight.
But
was
that
really
I
good.
think was actually like just like a year before Ocean's
Oh, really?
11, and that was still like an art house kind of film because it was Soderbergh.
Oh.
I think that's the first. I think then they went on. If you go back and look at the time, and it had like I think that was the first film Bernie Mac had that was not like a black film or a
Oh, really?
where he had a minor role.
God,
a
Bernie Mac
small
was so
role.
good. That movie is like that's a classic. I mean, I always forget about it sort of, but as a comedy, it's
Yeah.
it's like probably top 10.
God, the
so
scene
good.
with Bernie Mac and the car salesman, where he's like, "Your hands are so soft," He's like, I like to get intimate with my woman. And he just keeps going on while he's crushing the dude's head. Like, it's
So
he's like-
good. It's all so good.
yeah.
And the brothers,
The brothers.
God,
the
man.
Mormons.
Oh, my God. And then Carl Reiner, I can never remember the line, but I want to quote it all the time. He's like, I'm doing good. I'm seeing a woman who works in the unmentionables department at JCPenney or something. I was like, that's fucking awesome. In the unmentionables department. Like, that's
good.
it's written.
Who wrote
really
that movie?
Ted Griffin.
Teddy.
I
Theodore.
don't know why I know this shit, but it was Ted Griffin.
Hmm.
But I think that's more in line with Magnificent Seven. I wish they would do more films like that, but I think it's just too cumbersome, and they don't know who is going to be the next thing. I think Rogue One did that with more established actors from outside of America.
Yeah.
Like the two Asian guys, that one of them is the IP man in this huge franchise in Japan, but he's not known over here. Like,
Korea.
is it
Pretty
Korea?
sure.
Is IP man Korea?
What's IP?
He's a fighter. He's the guy who is he blind? He's blind.
In Rogue One.
In Rogue One, he's the one. I am one with the Force is one with me. That guy.
Hmm.
It's this franchise, and I guess it's Korea, called the IP man. That's huge,
Really?
but it's not known that much over here.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like one of the highest grossing
yeah.
worldwide films.
Thanks, Sean. I hope the mic picked that up.
I think you're fine.
Okay, Marvel films.
Okay.
So, how do you all feel? Do you feel like, for the most part, they've done a good job, and have they batted?
This is the Peter Frampton question. Do you feel
Oh, Jesus!
like I feel?
Oh my God!
I just want to thank you.
I think they get a lot of credit because everybody likes to shit on the DC films.
People
I
love
think
it.
they get bumped up. Oh, the thing
People
I was
love
saying
it.
earlier that Jason and I know agree on is that Man of Steel is a better film than anybody gives it credit for.
Mm-hmm.
No, I've not seen it.
Definitely.
You've not seen Man of Steel?
No.
It's
I've heard it's bad.
It is not.
it is not.
It
Okay.
is. It is actually a very well done film, and
I've heard it's boring. Is that true? Is there action in the?
There is. There's a lot of character development.
What's happening here?
party.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
I gotta go. Wearing a shirt like that, man, you
Oh,
can just
this
show up
is-
to
here
any
we-
party.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you're one of us, probably.
I think it's actually the neighbors over here in the backyard.
I see them here.
Oh, they're
They're over there.
Yeah.
who the fuck back there would be throwing a party? That's like families back there. That's why
Birthday
Ugh,
party.
Gross.
gross. So how do you all feel like comparatively? Have you all enjoyed all the Marvel films, or is it kind of pick and choose? Or do you actively seek out them when a new one comes out?
To me, it varies. Like if I like the character, if I know, like, yeah, I'll see a Spider-Man movie over a, Ant-Man movie.
Yeah.
Probably. I mean,
Well, and I will say that I think Marvel has done a better job of recognizing the popularity of some of its characters
mhm.
Yeah.
and playing on that. Like, I kind of want to know how much money Robert Downey Jr. made from Marvel over the last 10 years or whatever it has been.
Man.
But I also kind of don't.
Yeah.
Because just him showing up in one of those movies drove people.
Yeah.
And
It
he
didn't
has-
have to be an Iron Man movie. Just if he
Right.
was in the movie.
Even in Spider-Man and whatever, Homecoming
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah.
And I think he has back end deals on most of those. Like he's.
I bet he does. Up top.
Oh my God, dude, we're not competing with their party, man.
Oh, come on. We got this,
not,
guys.
not with empty glasses, we're not.
Oh, do we need refills?
Burn
I think I'm
holes
just
in-
a lush. It's fine. Keep going.
Yeah.
No, I think you're about average.
I think if I had to guess, I would say he's made easily over.
$1 trillion.
No, I would say over 300 million.
That
Yeah,
seems
I would-
about right.
I think he makes a fuck ton for the film.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to remember one of the films, if it's Spider-Man: Homecoming or Iron Man. It may have been Iron Man 3, where I think he made like $50 million just for that film.
Think about like residuals and like how big these movies are in like
Oh,
Asia
yeah.
and stuff. And
And since he's
mean-
listed as a producer,
I mean, Iron Man
Yeah, he
made
is.
what, $1 billion probably? Since his first, like with
Oh,
like
I would say-
rentals and
I would say if you go back to the first Iron Man, what it made in the theater, what it made on DVD, Blu-ray,
Right.
digital sales, it has made a fuck.
And even now, like on iTunes or whatever, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure it's still selling, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
Well, and it is one of the only Marvel movies that you haven't been able to stream anytime recently.
Really?
So if you want to watch it, you're paying.
You got to
for
buy it somehow or
And even cousin Ryan figured out that I think it's the only film that did not come packaged with a digital version.
Huh.
Like because it was just the time.
Yeah.
The timing.
Mhm.
Everyone since then. I think he's the same way though. I don't think he's counting Incredible Hulk.
If
But-
I
Yeah.
if I owned a Blu-ray player, I'd buy that on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I'd buy Iron Man.
If you had to buy, if you owned a Blu-ray and you could buy 5
Yeah.
of the Marvel films, what would they
Iron
be?
Man. Maybe the first Avengers, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe Winter Soldier,
Guardians.
Guardians. Yeah, that's great. Guardians is great, and then probably Endgame.
Yeah. See, I actually think Infinity War is better than Endgame.
I would agree.
But Endgame has so many great moments
that's
in the
probably true.
last third of the film that it's
What
hard.
about Captain Marvel? Did you
I
enjoy
thought-
that?
I thought she was terrible, and the film was really good.
Huh.
I thought she was just too. I don't know. She didn't. I don't know.
I don't particularly like her as Captain Marvel. I'm fine with her as Carol Danvers. Like just in that movie, but in Endgame she's just Captain Marvel, and she just doesn't have the presence,
Mhm.
especially when she's surrounded by actors that.
Have lived in those roles, or
Yeah,
or
I-
they're great actors.
One or the
both.
other.
Yeah.
Like, because I mean, you're putting her in a room with Chris Hemsworth, who is Thor,
Yeah,
and Robert Downey Jr., who is Iron Man,
yeah,
and Chris Evans, but then you've also got Mark Ruffalo and Don Cheadle and
Scarlett Johansson.
and just incredible actors. And I don't think she's either one yet. Could she be? Maybe. I think that was a rough film to come where it did.
And I've heard the
In
writers
the line.
say the reason why she has such a small role in Endgame is because they didn't know how it was going to go. And I kind of think it was that same way with Infinity War because Spider-Man had been a big hit, but they weren't sure about Black Panther. That's why his role was so small in Infinity War. That's what I understand. That's what the writers
I could
have
see
said.
that.
Yeah.
I could see that. So,
Well,
okay.
they goofed.
Going that direction, I was very disappointed in Endgame. Like, I understand that we saw the closing out of so many story arcs, right?
Right.
We saw the end for so many of the characters that have been in the franchise for the last 10 years. And I do, and Jody and I have talked about this a little bit, I am not sure that Chris Hemsworth, like, I think he might show back up as Thor in a movie, but I don't think Thor is ever going to be, like, I think we saw the end of his story as well.
Really?
And
Why is that?
because he is hitching, he specifically says, I'm going to hitch a ride. I think he might be in the next Guardians of the Galaxy, but I don't think he's going to be a player in the Guardians of the Galaxy. I think it's literally going to be a scene or two for comedic relief, and then they're going to continue on with their stories because he's done. He's ready to move on and do other things.
Right.
I mean, the actor is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so Endgame, to me, they spent so much time on those characters that they knew they were wrapping up their stories, and that was fantastic. I have no real interest in moving forward with Marvel outside of Spider-Man right now. Like, I think it can be interesting what they would do with Falcon and Winter Soldier, but that's going to be a TV show.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be
It is?
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'll be interesting what they do with Paul Rudd and Ant-Man and that. But even that, like, it kind of came to a conclusion. So
Yeah.
And they're all kind of like tertiary characters, right? They
right,
aren't like
they weren't the main.
yeah.
Like, to me, in Endgame, they made a huge mistake by not having any of the main characters from Wakanda, not having, you know, and so another one, Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like the end of that movie felt to me like Elizabeth Olsen was saying goodbye to the Avengers.
Right, her and Hawkeye.
And so it, like, but they also didn't do anything with their characters. I mean, they did stuff with Hawkeye's character, but
I mean, Hawkeye's kind of lame. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
I love the Hawkeye.
I actually like that they leaned into that. Hawkeye in, like, I think it was Age of Ultron, where he was like, I'm a guy with bows and arrows out there, but I still fight. I was like, at least they own that
Exactly.
he is.
Right.
And I don't mind his story arc. I just don't think he's going to, like, he's not going to get his own movie.
No.
So
I'm trying to think if he's getting his own TV series.
Also, Renner. I hate Renner, man. I think he's...
Although, have you seen Tag?
No.
Watch Tag.
I've heard it's funny.
Tag is
funny.
Is good. Tag and Game Night. Do those as a twofer.
I promise
Game
you,
Night
I'll,
is so
I'll
much.
watch them.
Oh my God, it is so funny.
Really?
Oh yeah.
All right.
See, and now I'm going to flip to you. You need to watch The House
Oh yeah.
with Will
yeah,
Ferrell and Amy Poehler.
I have heard that I need to
Holy
see
And
this.
Manzukis.
and Manzukis.
Great.
That one
Great.
came out of nowhere, and I told Sean, I was like, you have to watch this film. It's like, it is insane, and it will make you chuckle aloud at certain parts. Like, it is so
That's
fucking
a
funny.
strong ringing endorsement.
Yeah.
It'll make you
Chuckle.
It'll make you chuckle.
giggle
It'll make
a
you
little bit.
chuckle.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So who's going forward? Spider-Man obviously is going forward.
Spider-Man.
that
It's
it?
the only character. I mean, Black Panther.
Black
you have to
Panther.
assume is Doctor Strange. You assume
Because
is
you figure like the Avengers are done. Like they've conquered every
Yeah,
the entire
they've-
world,
but
universe. Probably because of Marvel, right? She'll have some adventures somewhere.
maybe.
There's so much invested in her. Like that's seems like.
I think Spider-Man is, you're right in that he will make the most interesting because the amount of villains he has. I think that's the problem I have with a lot of the Marvel films is the villains have been terrible.
Will we see Vincent
D'Onofrio.
from?
I did float that idea out
Will we
to
see that
Sean.
him in a movie? That'd be great.
Yeah,
Like,
I said I
him
think
as
it
the
should be.
Kingpin in the
I think
movie.
it should be the fourth film when he's in college
Oh yeah.
or right
Also,
out of college.
that guy playing Spider-Man, Peter Parker, is perfect.
Yeah,
Tom
he's-
Holland. Yeah.
Tom Holland, it's a perfect. Like he's the first time they got it right. It's kind of dweeby, you know. Like yeah, I love him. He's great.
yeah.
Is he, like,
Although,
is he
see, I
Irish?
grew up with the Spider-Man cartoon
Yeah,
where Peter Parker's actually,
a grown man.
yeah, and so for me it's always a little, but I didn't like the Tobey Maguire ones either.
But this,
so,
but the beauty is that this guy he'll grow into it.
yeah,
That's the perfect part. It's like he has 10
and he's
years
a really
of-
good actor.
He's good. Yeah, he's really good.
Do you know what the sad part about the Tobey Maguire films?
He died at the end in real life.
Spoiler.
Tobey-
Now's when we say spoiler. We save it for the end. Oh yeah, spoiler. The second film minus Tobey Maguire is a really good film. Doc Ock is amazing because it's Alfred fucking Molina.
Yeah,
All right.
Like it is a great take on the bad guy.
yeah.
that was a villain done right.
Yeah.
And I feel like most of those Spider-Man films.
Yeah. The third one's awful.
I didn't even see the third one.
What was sad about the third one is they did a great job with Sandman, but they crammed Hobgoblin and Venom in there too.
Oh my God.
And from what I
Oh,
understand,
that's right. Venom
From
was
what
in
I
that one.
understand, Sam Raimi did not want to do Venom, but the studio made him put Venom in there.
That
But
was
even
weird.
Hobgoblin was terrible. It was James Franco playing
Have
Hobgoblin.
you
And,
guys,
and then he was his partner at the end.
Oh.
I was like, no.
have you guys seen Venom?
Yes.
That
Yes.
film, is it good?
No.
It could have been a good film, but they made it PG-13.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's one of those, this is a weird way to put it. It's one of those films that there are parts where it's like, oh shit, this is pretty good. Oh shit, no, they just went too far. They just went around the bend.
Oh.
Like shit, that's pretty, God damn it, they just screwed that.
But see, a lot of that they did to avoid the R rating.
Oh, right.
And, because it was actually Venom. Like,
Yeah.
capable of ripping people in half and kind of inclined to do so.
Yeah.
But they didn't let him.
And the other, I tell you, the weirdest thing about that film is Michelle Williams is one of the best living actors today. She is awful. She is so flat and boring in that film. I was like, how do you make Michelle Williams be a bad actress? in
Yeah.
this? Like that's
I feel like
fucked
they
up.
just didn't want her. Like she just didn't want to do it, or because I've heard that film had like 2 sets of rewrites and tons of reshoots.
Oh yeah.
So it could be by the time they got to her part again that she was just like, I'm done.
You know what the saddest part is? That the guy who directed that is the guy who did Zombieland. So they could have done a very good R-rated film, but they didn't. And also, Tom Hardy is a great actor. He is so over the top in that film. His like Brooklyn or whatever he's doing accent is so like, Jesus Christ, dude, man.
Yeah, you can barely understand him sometimes. Like
Yeah.
you can understand him better as Venom.
Yeah. It's not good. Have y'all seen Into the Spider-Verse?
Yes.
No.
Everybody made a huge deal. I think I had too much hype going in. I liked some of the twists in it, which we won't get into, but
But they have Spider Hams in it, right?
Spider-Ham, Spider-Ham.
I used to love Spider Ham, the comic book.
and John Mulaney plays Spider-Man.
I know.
I will say, I can't believe he did as good a job, but the Kingpin and Into the Spider-Verse is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And
I would
it's-
agree.
I had
and
to
it's-
steal that or borrow it from the. I had to watch it. Sorry, I had to buy that movie and
Yes.
watch it.
Sean, why are you winking at us when you say that?
That's not a wink. That's a blink. It's a hard blink. Yeah, I'm very raised about it. But Susan is fine, right?
Yeah, it was
Fine.
good. It was
It's
really,
good.
and I will say, I felt like they did such a great job of, so it's all about the multiverse, right?
Mhm. Yep.
The distinction that they have between characters
Yes.
Mhm.
was amazing.
Is it animated?
Yeah.
All of it?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's different styles.
But are they all like in the same space at the same time?
Yes,
Yeah.
and
Neat.
all of their animation is different.
That's pretty cool.
It
Yeah.
was very interesting
Okay.
to see.
And it's the guys who did 21 Jump Street, the Lego movie,
Oh, yeah.
Last Man on Earth, Lord and Miller, who did the solo film
Mm-hmm.
before they got booted.
Hmm.
Which, hot take, I actually like the solo film.
I did too.
And I
It was better
rewatched
than
it.
Rogue One, I think.
I rewatched it. It moves.
No, wait. It was,
I
it was
would-
better than Last Jedi.
I think it is potentially better. So, okay, Last Jedi. Last Jedi is
I
a middle
recent-
movie.
It's what?
It's a middle movie.
Yeah, it is.
So
I rewatched Last Jedi recently.
it is
Yeah.
a better. If you look at it as a standalone film,
Yeah.
it's actually pretty good. The problem is there's no beginning or end because it's a middle film.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
you don't the story. If you haven't seen the first one recently,
Mm-hmm.
it makes no sense. Like it takes a good third of the movie to figure out what the fuck's going on.
Right.
And then at the end of the film, Luke becomes one with the Force, but that's not the end of the story. The Force is everywhere, and therefore, I feel like there's so much left
Yeah.
of that story that that's the problem with that movie.
Yeah, that's probably true, actually.
And I've got a weird. It's one of those weird things that we live in a world now where if you really pay attention, you learn more about the making of the film than sometimes the film. Like the problem I had with Rogue One, and this is a weird take because I think you love this film. They did a shit ton of reshoots, and the guy who did it was the guy who directed Michael Clayton.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I think that hurt it because the guy who originally directed it did a film called Monsters, which is really good, and then did the Godzilla film. And from a photography standpoint, he does a lot of you're not looking up at God. You're not seeing Godzilla from the sky.
Yeah, right.
You're seeing him from boots on the ground
Yeah,
level.
yeah.
And that's really cool. And there were hints of that in Rogue One, but you could see how
Where
many times
they-
it pulled back. I was like, damn it. I was like, his take on this, I think, would have been a lot more interesting.
That was the best space fight that has been in a Star Wars film. Was Rogue One, where they're fighting above, right there towards the end.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That because it's all shot
And
close
it's
up.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it's
all him.
shot close up, and that's such a cool way to do that.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's like there's a scene in Godzilla where they're all halo dropping out of the sky, and it's their vision of Godzilla from that viewpoint. And then and I'm like, holy shit! Like this is amazing. Like it's great. And I got excited when Rogue One was announced and it was him. I was like, that's going to be a cool, interesting take on Star Wars. And the fact the Michael Clayton guy came in and rewrote and reshot. But I think Marvel's done a good job of, except for Ant-Man, not letting anybody know if that shit happens.
Yeah.
Right.
At all.
Well, it's the difference of Disney, because Disney doesn't. It's hard to get any of that information out of Disney,
But Star Wars.
but only
Star
recently.
Wars.
Star Wars?
But only recently.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's still LucasArts, and they are not a kind of driven integral part of Disney like Marvel is. What do you want to talk about, Sean?
The most embarrassing story I know about Jody. He told me himself.
Oh, no, I would tell you myself.
See, most of my embarrassing stories that involve Jody are just watching other people get drunk trying to keep up with him in
Yeah.
drinking.
Checks out.
I remember that a friend came to visit once, and we were sitting on our back deck, and Jody and I had just poured moonshine, like the old school moonshine.
Mm-hmm.
And we were sitting there and drinking, talking, and we realized that the other guy had gotten really quiet. We look over, and he's just sprawled out on the top of the table, out cold.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah. Like, he didn't black out. We woke him up, and he was like, sorry, I got really tired. And we were like, go to bed, man. Go to bed.
That was great.
Me? No. Well, this was, you were
Yes, ma'am.
there. This was,
Everett?
no. Oh, God.
Everett's always falling asleep. So this is the Jameson IPA.
What?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I have a stout and an IPA, and I've heard the IPA is amazing.
It's really good.
It's aged in IPA beer.
Ooh. Oh, that is very good.
Yeah, that's good.
Did you already finish your cigar? Oh, no, you said that. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a weird world we live in that now we know so much about the goddamn films that it's...
Wouldn't you have loved to known some of that about, like, the John Wayne films?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Jesus. See, there's one that the older I've got, the less I've liked him.
Yeah, he's a douche.
Yeah. He still made some great films.
Yeah, true, but still.
But yeah, he was not a
But is it
not a
worth
good
it?
person.
No. Terrible.
Well, you know the story about, when Marlon Brando won for The Godfather, he had the woman who is a Native American go up there and accept. Well, there are two things out of that she was actually an actress.
Ooh.
But
but she was native though, right?
That part I don't know. I think so. But she was an actress.
Okay.
But the part that got hushed was if the camera had been pointed the other way, you would have seen John Wayne getting held down because he was going to try and bum rush the stage and essentially push her off the stage.
What a jackass. did he serve in the military at all?
No. Ooh,
Ugh.
that's another hot
Yeah.
take.
He did a big one, man.
He's another one. He's one of those guys that for years I'd always heard that he had stayed and done films because more people enlisted because of his films. And I found out later it's like, oh no, he was almost like a Trumpian.
Coward.
Yeah.
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 Shocking.
So
bone,
here you go.
Bone spurs?
Probably.
Pops.
What is so in that vein, what are your favorite John Wayne films?
Oh, jeez.
Because I think I've got one that not a lot of people have seen that my dad told me about. That's a great film called The Quiet Man.
I've not
Oh,
seen,
yeah.
I've not seen a single J-Dubs film.
Oh, really?
Mm-mm.
See, he
I
was
don't
one of my
think so.
dad's favorite actors when I was little. And so I remember for Christmas one year getting him like the John Wayne Greatest Collection
Oh,
kind
shit,
of
yeah.
film. Quiet Man was on there.
That's cool.
Rio Bravo. Although that one for Dean Martin is
Yeah.
amazing. Dean Martin should have won a fucking Oscar for that film. He is so good in that film.
But it had the one
This-
they just did the remake of
Uh,
not too long ago.
Oh, the Coen Brothers
Yeah.
film. See, I didn't like that one as much.
I didn't either, but it was on there. Like that's one of those iconic roles
True
that I
Grit.
remember. True Grit.
Rooster
yeah.
Cogburn.
That
That's-
I remember
the-
John Wayne as.
The other one that gets a lot of credit is that Searchers film that I did not like as much as everybody else did. Sons of Katie Elder's good, but Quiet Man and Rio Bravo are untouchable to me. Like, they're great film. And Rio Bravo's like 2.5 hours. Like, it's a long fucking film for that time.
Yeah.
You've not seen any John Wayne film.
No.
Did you always think he was a douche? Or you
No,
just,
no. I didn't like westerns growing up, so I just never
So
really.
have you not? You've seen any of the Clint Eastwood ones?
Yeah, I've seen a few. I've seen
Outlaw Jesse
Unforgiven.
Wales?
Not that one. I've seen the later ones, like Unforgiven and
Talk about a long movie though.
whatever else.
The Outlaw Jesse Wales.
Yes. Probably some of the ones from the late '80s where it was like
Yeah.
Hang 'em High and shit.
No,
what was
that's why
Were those late
Tombstone.
80s?
Hang 'em High?
Ladies.
Tombstone. Tombstone's not. Oh Jesus. Christ.
Tombstone's not Clint Eastwood.
I mean, like Western.
Hang 'em High's
Westerns, but not.
Hang 'em High's early '80s. I'm trying to remember the one from the mid '80s where he already started having like the gray in his hair, where he was like the ghost. Do you remember which one I'm talking about?
I feel like I've seen it. Like
Yeah.
I
I've
watched
seen-
all those growing up. I just don't. But I watched all of them on like TBS or
Oh yeah.
whatever.
Oh, fuck
So
Yeah.
I have no idea what the actual movie's like because I would catch it. Like I would catch
Right.
the first
Three
half.
quarters through or
Yeah.
something.
I tell you one, if you're going to go back and watch a film by him, it's not a Western, but it's called A Perfect World. He directed it. It's him and Kevin Costner and Laura Dern. And it's from like the early 90s, but it's set in like the 50s, and it's amazing.
Wasn't that one of his?
I think that was
One of his, or maybe the first one that he directed.
No. Outlaw Josie Wells he directed. And that was
Did
in
he
the
really?
70s. A Perfect World was like after Unforgiven, like 93, 94.
I didn't realize he directed
Yeah.
Outlaw Just. God,
Well, that's okay. Have you seen any of the Leone
Although, talk
films
about
with him?
how
Yeah.
crazy somebody can be.
I'm probably.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen which ones? Like a fistful of dollars.
Fistful of
or-
Dollars for a few dollars more.
Oh, I've seen a fistful of dollars.
The Good, the Bad, and Ugly. I watched the original and I watched the director's cut, and the director's cut's better.
Huh.
And then also, Once Upon a Time in the West is amazing with Chuck Bronson.
Ooh.
Yeah, that is an amazing movie. But another person that's just crazy.
Oh, Charles Bronson
Is he really crazy?
Not Charles.
or Leone?
No, Clint Eastwood.
Oh, Clint
Oh,
Eastwood's
is he really
nuts.
crazy? Really?
He's, yeah.
I mean,
did you not see the NRA speech?
No. Recently?
No, the chair thing.
Oh, I saw the chair. Was that NRA?
I thought that was at
That
the
was a-
Republican.
Oh, that was at the Republican thing.
Yeah, I saw
but he's
that. That
also
was
done
insane.
similar speeches at the NRA.
Although, I heard a story about the chair speech.
Yeah, I feel like that's made up.
No. Oh, really? The story?
What's the story?
The story is that he went out there and said, "Watch me do this," like winked at it, and then when he came out, he was like, "They'll be talking about that." Like he almost made fun of himself.
That can't be true.
I-
I mean,
he just
seems
seemed-
so
that wasn't a
serious.
Republican pundit. That was somebody from the news or somebody like. God, I almost said Brian Williams, but that would have been horribly wrong. Brian Williams or Ted Koppel. It's Brian, not Ted Koppel. What's his name?
Dan Rather.
Dan Rather. Yeah, it was Brian Williams or Dan.
Super believable stories.
Yeah. But it was somebody who was from the news who said, "Oh no, he actually did do that." But he was just like, I don't know, I don't give a shit. He was kind of making it up as he went.
I mean, you could tell he was making it up as he went.
Oh
but
God, yeah.
still, he
But
was.
why?
Yeah.
But it's also one of those, the age we live in now, that's low bar on the nut scale. Like Chuck
True.
Woolery and Scott Baio and Dean Cain has threatened to fight. He punched somebody in the face.
Really?
Wait,
Speaking-
seriously?
Speaking
of Superman.
Superman. Yeah. Crazy Republican.
They're real and they're fabulous.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Dean Kane's a Republican, GOPer?
Yes.
Really a big one?
Yeah.
It's-
The
it's-
Scott Baio one
I mean,
cracks me
Bayo,
up.
it makes sense. I mean,
But it's like, who are you? And
what was that Scott Baio movie, Zapped? You seen Zapped?
Yeah, that was
oh my
funny.
God, that's great.
That's
Zapped
one of
was
those
so
80s
dumb.
films that's like it's all about the boobs.
It's like the whole movie, like him zapping off people's shirts. That's the whole plot.
yeah.
Watch this.
And it's got Willie Ames. It's got the guy who was in Charles in Charge.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
God, there were a lot of 80s films like that. I still
Yes.
remember staying up watching those on HBO. The weird, like, Private Resort with Johnny Depp and Rob Morrow, where it's just them at a resort and they keep seeing naked women and shit. Like, that's the whole plot.
Solid plot, man. You know?
You talk about somebody who's crazy. I love Johnny Depp, but he's out of his fucking mind. Like,
Yeah.
the amount of money he spends on wine is like into the 5 or 6 digits. Like,
I mean, he's almost broke, right? He's going broke real fast.
he's going down the Nick Cage
Yeah.
road.
Antoine Walker. Although Antoine Walker just like gambled it away. At least that's one thing. But like, just to like have 10 houses and spend $40,000 a month on wine, like that's even like a weirder way. Like, at least gambling, you kind of understand. It's like, well, that's a compulsion, or that's like whatever.
Well, I mean, alcohol's also.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. But like, it's not like he's getting. If he was just a drunk,
Yeah.
that'd be one thing. If he's just like
Sure.
buying hooch and drinking it, like,
But it's also
But
the
to
weird thing of
buy
like
that
Johnny
much-
Depp bought an island.
yeah.
But then he
see?
like didn't use it right. Like, that's not a bad thing if you're
True.
a superstar and you want to get the fuck away. I get that. But to buy it and he's never there and all
Although
that.
I guess if he sells properties, he can.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, apparently there's
Fine.
somewhere in LA that he owns an entire block of houses.
God, dang.
So, talking about actors and unexpected things. This is off topic, sort of. Look it up on Rotten Tomatoes. Will Smith has not had a movie that was above 70% on Rotten Tomatoes since the first Men in Black movie.
Oh,
Wow. Although
really?
Yeah.
not now that it's second time, so those at home drink, because I'm going to mention the name again, Kevin Smith. He told a story because he was in, Will Smith had a small role in Jersey Girl. And he was talking about Will Smith and how he was on set and he was a super nice guy. Came there with no entourage, just by himself. Super great guy. But he said, he's got to be looking at his box office receipts going, 100 million, 100 million, 100 millions, 20 millions. And he goes, what the? Oh, fucking fat guy. 100 million, 100 million, 100 million. He's one that's gone off the deep end a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Has he?
Oh, he's...
How
so if
so?
you heard the thing... God, we're really going down the rabbit hole with this. He made an announcement about how he was going to be on YouTube. So
Pardon?
Garth Brooks did the same thing about Facebook. He made this big announcement. He's like, all right, guys, I'm finally on Facebook. And this was like 2 years ago.
I mean, it's Garth
Boy,
Brooks.
I mean, he really
yeah,
missed that train, right? I mean,
Well, Will Smith, it's been like a year. And he's
Yeah.
like, guys, I'm on YouTube. And it's like, what the fuck?
Well, how much is YouTube paying him?
Oh, yeah.
oh, that's true.
But
Yeah.
it's like he recently, because I think he recently turned 50 and he went skydiving. And it was this huge thing.
That's super sad.
Yes.
Isn't
Although
he just
I
trying
bet-
to be The Rock at this point,
Yes.
though?
Do
Okay.
you- Yes.
Do you think his YouTube channel will be like above 70% Rotten Tomatoes?
No.
No, because
I mean, it might be.
it is
yeah.
an actual meme that they use a clip from one of the YouTube things that he was in, the YouTube Rewind, and a clip of him being in it is a meme.
Oh, my God.
But
very
is it like
powerful
is it
meme.
produced well, or is it just him like in front of a
No, it's-
iPhone?
It's whatever he's using a very... There was one I remember, I actually watched it. I was like, I'm
Is it
going to fucking
red?
watch this. It probably was. It was just him, and I can't remember if he was just holding it up, but he was in some like insane hotel in Dubai, and you could see like a plate of food where he had ate breakfast. And it's one of those like, is that staged? I don't think that was staged. I think he literally did it. But whatever he was shooting with, I was like, I think this is better cameras than they use on the Star Wars films. Like, it was like, Jesus Christ. Like, this does not look like a GoPro. This does not look like an iPhone.
But man, like, the cameras now are so good. Like the I hate the word vlogging. Vlog.
Yeah.
But the dumb like vlogging cameras now they have are
Like Casey
I'm-
Neistat.
yeah,
and-
man. They're like 4K. They're like great.
Yeah.
And they're like $500 or whatever, $1,000. Like it's crazy.
Well, even the camera on the iPhone
That's good, man.
is
It's solid.
it's a solid camera.
And the portrait mode and shit. That shit blows my mind. That
Yeah.
It can do that now. Marvel films.
Marvel films.
But I'm going to tie it into Will Smith. I think it's kind of interesting also what they've done is they've either picked actors before they broke or somebody on the downswing going. Because the big thing was They were trying to make Iron Man forever, and the person who was going to be Iron Man was Tom Cruise.
Whoa.
Yeah. That was like mid to late 90s. They were going to make an Iron Man film, and it's going to be Tom Cruise. Imagine how bad that film would have been.
Man.
But I think it's interesting that you have people like Tom Cruise or Will Smith or any of those that haven't been in a Marvel film, and you feel like Will Smith with like Suicide Squad was like, hey, I want to be in these films. And Suicide Squad's fucking terrible.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
I'm still mad that Tom Cruise is Jack Reacher.
Yeah.
Makes me kind of angry. Just
Yeah.
like,
That's not. That is one of the worst casts.
one of the worst casts. I mean,
ever.
ever.
Like
yeah.
the movies are fine.
Yeah.
But
The
he
second
is
one
a.
is not fine. The second one is awful.
I
I got to
awful
go.
or just like not great. I mean,
No, it's off. I went to see it. I went to see it at the fucking premiere out at Turkey Creek where he was there. And I just sat in that I can't remember who I was with, but I was like, this looks like a made-for-TV movie. Like,
Yeah.
it's that bad.
yuck.
see. I think that's another one I saw on a plane. I don't.
The first one's okay.
But
That's-
Jack
that's
Reacher's
fine.
supposed to be your size.
I
Yeah.
know.
Like that's the thing.
Like a
and-
brute with like ham
Yeah,
fists.
not somebody smaller than me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a big dude. 6'5".
So,
Hand the size of a turkey platter.
Mm-hmm.
That's
So-
the description in the book.
I love it.
so do you think, like, Chris Hemsworth would make a good Jack Reacher?
He's not old enough.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's older. in
Yeah, Reacher. Like
It's like what?
Cruise
40-ish,
is the right
35, 40?
age. Ish. I mean, Tom Cruise doesn't age. So,
That's
Yeah.
true.
but
Good
yeah,
living.
like
Him and
mid
Paul Rudd
40s.
don't age.
Paul Rudd really doesn't age.
That's true.
Like,
That's weird.
yeah.
But, yeah, so he's about the right age, but it's just size and,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you need somebody like Liv Schreiber or somebody.
Oh
good.
man,
He
yeah.
could play him.
Yeah, you're right.
Like that would be a good cast for
You're
that
right, yeah.
age, big.
yeah.
I'll give you another one. Ben Affleck.
No. He's
Yeah,
soft, man.
actually,
He's
Ben
too
Affleck is a
soft.
big,
No.
big man.
Just personality-wise, he's soft. You need someone a little
Did you
harder
see
edge
the
on him.
the Batman v Superman?
No.
That's a
But I don't think he's just too much like he's too much Affleck.
No,
no.
he's
if-
learned to act finally.
Yeah.
Like he honestly,
Or even the accountant.
yeah, even the accountant. But
Yeah.
he is my favorite Batman.
Hmm.
For the style that they were wanting to have. Like I really like Christian Bale in Batman Begins. I didn't like him in the other two movies. Like
You didn't like Rachel.
yeah.
Rachel.
But in the Batman v Superman, he's a badass
Yeah.
and smart.
Yeah.
And they actually they use both his size and strength and his intelligence. Like it was fascinating. It was a
But
fascinating
if
take.
you're ever going to watch that, watch the extended version. The
Yes.
extended version clears up like half the plot holes.
Yeah.
Oh, huh.
Like it was
they just
it's
cut that movie to a point
to
that
shit.
Really?
yeah.
And he was not used well in Justice League. I didn't mind Justice League that much, but he was not used well in Justice League. They tried to make him funny in too many spots. Like him and Alfred. I was like, don't.
Yeah.
You're good. You're good. Well, you want to see if they want to come party?
Pass.
Not going to share this whiskey.
Start unbuttoning your shirt. Yeah, how do you like the IPA?
It's really good, except I just had a bug crawl up my hand.
Oh.
I just want to make sure I didn't knock it in the whiskey. Nope, we're good.
From the place that shall not be named on the corner of
Hey. Sorry.
Summit Hill and Central. Apparently, they sold a shit ton of that IPA.
Really?
Yeah, it was a huge seller there.
Huh. Huh.
Okay. Well, since
Fun fact. So there was a review that was written about that place
When?
that shall not be named. It was a relatively recent review, post the removal of the cigar lounge
Written where?
on Google
Hmm.
that has gotten 50 likes, and there has not been another review written since it was.
is it somebody
One
we
star.
know?
Yes, it is.
That's what I thought.
Oh,
1 star
somebody
review.
know?
Yes.
It is someone we know.
Okay.
Sean's happy.
I like it.
Side
50
note.
likes, huh? That's a good. That's a pretty good little comment. Then it seems like.
So
Whoever did that.
I don't think
Great.
I've told Sean this. I'm trying to get that group to meet up at Corner Lounge now that they have.
Oh,
the
you
little...
told me. Come
Oh,
on.
Okay, my bad. Jesus, calm down, Sean.
I like getting mad at dumb things.
For no reason.
I think it's a great idea. The Friday night. What's it called?
Therapy Friday.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be too
So
hot.
what does that review say? Can you give us a little? You read it recently. You read it, right? So
Yeah.
From memory, like what you read. Give me a
that
taste.
It's very disappointing that they removed the cigar lounge because it was always busy.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems to be an interesting business decision.
Mm-hmm.
But also that the reason that was given for it being removed is to make it a more family-friendly environment. I've seen more drunk people there than almost any other venue in this town.
Yeah.
And, like,
Yeah, if you don't go to the shitty bars in that area, you're 100% correct.
yeah. And
Like-
and I like...
We don't go to the shitty.
we don't go
bar.
to the shitty bars. So,
Yeah.
like, it was a nice bar. You could get good beer. They had a great selection of whiskeys, and you could have a cigar. And you didn't have to worry, because it was a 21 and over place. You didn't have to worry about somebody bringing their 2-year-old who is going to, run through and spill your beer. You had to
Yeah.
worry about dogs every once in a while, but that was usually my own. So,
And that huge horse they bring in.
Oh yeah.
That dog's fantastic. Zeus or whatever.
Yeah, I can't remember. Whenever it Lebowski. Whenever
Lebowski.
it backed into the chairs, I love that.
God, it's so huge.
So
Love it.
since
I love
we are on this train,
ride to the end.
so going back, how did you feel about the Batman films when you were a kid? The Michael Keaton Batman films.
Loved them.
And have you rewatched them?
No,
It
they can't
Don't.
be good. I won't.
Yeah,
I'll
don't.
never.
So what's funny is Kevin Smith and Mark Bernard went back and did audio commentaries of those Batman films,
Oh, man.
and they're like, "Oh my god, I forgot about this. Oh my god, I forgot." Like it's so bad.
What's like trying to go back and watch the Clooney ones?
Oh god.
Ooh,
One.
forgot
Or
about
the
Clooney
Clooney
one.
one, right? It just feels like it was a lot of movies. It wasn't.
Yeah.
Who was the villain in that movie?
Arnold.
Oh God, Mr.
Was that the one with
Freeze.
That was
Arnold?
Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
That was why the nipples. Remember? The bat
Right.
nipples.
And that was the
Right.
one with Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl.
Yes.
And Chris O'Donnell, who is terrible as he's terrible in general, but he was awful as Robin. And he was also like 35 as
Yeah.
Robin. Okay, so those. Although I did see an article right after Batman Begins came out that was like, it's good that Batman and Robin happened because it gave us a new lease on those comics. Because I think had that not happened and the X-Men films, we wouldn't have gotten the Marvel films we got now. The
I'd agree
X-Men
with
films
that.
really helped out. Because
Yes,
they
and Blade.
and
So
Blade.
everybody ignores that, but
Blade
I mean-
may be one of my favorite Marvel films.
and he was the first successful
Yes.
Marvel film
Yeah.
was Blade, and they
Is Snipes still alive?
yeah.
We need
He
see-
actually
we need
wants to
see-
do-
We need to see him like in the universe.
He actually wants to reprise the role of Blade.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. Have him
Yeah.
be a more although he's still fit as shit.
Mhm.
Like he was in I think the third Expendables film.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
And he was good in the third. Him and Antonio Banderas were good in the third Expendables film.
How old is he now?
Wesley Snipes.
Maybe 60, right?
He's got to be. I don't know. He started acting young.
But he was like, he was 35 when he did like
He was probably.
the plane movie or whatever.
Passenger 57.
Yeah. Don't you think? He has to be, I bet he's 55 years old. That's my guess.
I could believe 55.
See, I'm going back thinking. I was like, wait, when did Major League come out? Because he would have been
Ooh.
in his.
See, and
early
it was
20s.
mid 80s. So yeah. He may be. Yeah, he may.
He's born in 1962.
Dang. Okay,
okay.
so.
I can't do math. He's also from Orlando, Florida. I
So
would've
he's
thought-
57.
Yeah. Oh my
56,
gosh.
57.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, Wildcats. Wildcats was made.
Oh man, I love Wildcats.
Yeah.
Goldie Hawn and
Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson. That was their first movie together, and they did
Yeah.
White Man Can't Jump.
Oh, that's right.
Speaking of fun facts, here's a fun fact that still it's like a generic dumb fun fact, but blows my mind. So now, right now, this year or last year, we are further in time from Nirvana than Nirvana was from the Beatles.
I think I did know that. Oof. That hurts my
Isn't that
brain.
weird? Like that's crazy, right? That's crazy.
Well, I
Yeah.
told you about my Mentor 2.0 kid at South Dole.
Uh-huh.
One of the first things he said, I was like, "Well, what kind of music are you into?" He's like, "I'm into this really old band, Nirvana."
Oh, girl.
And did you say "oh girl"? And then at the last Mentor 2.0 meeting, I finally looked at him and was like, I'm going to regret asking this. How old's your mom and dad?
Boy.
And he was like, "Oh, my dad's 36 and my mom is 34." I was like, "Oh, shut
gosh.
up. Shut up."
And we were like, is she seeing anyone?
It's like, damn, they're
34?
34.
God, man.
Because he's a 14-year-old kid, so his
Yeah,
mom
makes
was
sense.
20.
That's, man, checks out.
His
Math
dad's an
adds up.
HVAC guy. I should get him over here to help work on my
There you
HVAC.
go.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. So the DC films, you had the Batman films, and then when that went away, then it flipped over to Marvel, and you had the X-Men films, and you had Blade in like '98, and then you had the X-Men films. Although if you go back and watch the first X-Men, it's got some bad points. Second
Yeah.
X-Men's really good. Third X-Men's not good.
I mean, the X-Men movies were, but again, you're talking about it's what set Marvel
Yeah.
apart
Yeah.
is that Marvel was in, like, the Iron Man movie was in our world.
Yeah.
There is nothing in that movie. There is nothing
Outlandish.
there's nothing
Right.
so out of the realm of possibility
Yeah.
that it's not believable.
Although I will say one good thing they picked up from the X-Men films is Singer at the time of the X-Men films was an indie film director. And Favreau, same thing.
Yep.
Favreau
And also a child molester. Allegedly.
No, I think it's pretty much corroborated.
I know, I was just saying that. It was-
Yeah. There's
I'm a
He was
journalist.
trying to cover you legally,
Yeah.
which is always a good idea.
Yeah,
Right.
allegedly.
Speaking from,
So I'm going to go down another rabbit hole. How do
That's
you
what Singer
fit?
how do
said.
you fit in rabbit holes? Never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, snugly.
Also what Singer said.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. How do you feel about films that now the stars or the directors are problematic? Like I won't
Example.
I won't watch a Polanski film. After
Yeah,
I
there's no
finally
reason.
read
I
about
mean,
him,
He was he's the extreme case. Like he
but the
ugh.
woman the young girl he did that to has forgiven him.
Yeah, but I
It's-
mean
or Woody Allen. Woody Allen's
Woody
another,
Allen is-
another example.
Woody Allen's also I mean, he's like a problem, but like Polanski straight up raped a 14-year-old or whatever she was, 12, right? Straight up
in
like
the ass.
I mean, yeah, like a brutal rape like I don't know, man. I mean, Woody is creep
Yeah.
and that's a weird but that's a different situation, I think. Maybe.
I
don't
think
know, maybe it's
people
not.
would-
Maybe it's the same.
I'm surprised people
the
still
same.
feel so bad about him, considering he has stayed with her till this day.
Yeah, I mean, they
like if
obviously
he would have
they
pulled a
obviously-
Leonardo DiCaprio and
Ugh.
dumped her when she was 25.
I don't know, man. It's hard to.
Have you seen that chart that
I
came out
have,
recently?
yeah.
That he has never dated a woman over 25 or something. Once they
Yeah.
hit 25, he dumps them.
Not illegal.
Yeah.
What Polanski did was
Wildly.
frowned upon,
Yeah. But like,
allegedly.
so here's
I think that one's
Just kidding. He
allegedly.
actually did that.
here's a great film that has
Yeah, he's
a
the
problematic
worst.
person is Seven. Seven is
Mm.
an amazing film.
Oh, with
With
Kevin
Spacey, spoiler
Spacey.
alert.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I still watch that film, and part of me is like, should I feel guilty about watching this film? Or how do you all feel about that?
I watched it recently. I didn't really. I kind of forgot about Spacey, honestly, when I was watching it. I mean,
About his
I don't-
problem?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
I don't know. It's a hard question.
And I think so. I think that's one of the. Will I watch a new movie he's in? No,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but
Right.
Seven or The Usual Suspects.
Yeah.
Or
Silver Streak.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
What's that one? He's a space alien. That one.
K-Pax.
K-Pax.
Oh God.
Fantastic.
I actually like that film.
It wasn't that bad.
And everybody shits on it because
We can no longer have you doing movie podcasts
Yeah.
by
Yeah,
admitting
you're
that. I'm just saying.
behind.
that's actually going to be on a separate movie podcast called Second Take, where it's like if you watch it again, because
You'll-
Jeff Bridges is in it. Like it's a good film.
I've seen the film.
Yeah.
Also, I think the rule should be if you've seen the movie already before you knew what happened, then you can enjoy it.
See, I haven't seen a lot of.
It's already
old-
set. Grandfathered in, right?
I haven't seen
Maybe.
a lot of old Woody Allen films. I struggle to go back and watch Manhattan or any of those
Yeah,
because I know.
Yeah,
And that one again.
that's a good rule. I
like
think.
I'm not gonna go watch a Kevin Spacey movie that I've never heard of.
Right.
That
Why
may
would
be 20 years old, but
Yeah.
I'm just not. But if there are movies that are in that genre, sure. Like in the repertoire of movies that I like to watch, like Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is insane,
Yeah.
but I still watch some of the old films, The Last Samurai.
Yeah.
But also, he's like, I mean,
He's never been
sexually, he's not,
convicted of anything,
or
that-
even like accused, has he, of like
Yeah.
sexual
I don't
stuff?
think so.
He's been. So the thing is that Scientology has tried to recruit women to date him.
Well,
Mhm.
yeah,
I do
right.
know that's a thing.
Well, Katie Holmes, I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
But
was-
not underage women. Like
No.
it's-
I mean, it was a contract, and they signed up for it. They probably got money. Like, it's a job. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, for
It's
a few
the
million
Truman
dollars.
Show.
It's Truman Show. I mean,
That's what I heard recently.
if it's their choice, I'm all for it, right? Like, if they're on board, no harm, no foul. If they're getting paid to marry Tom Cruise and they're into it, like,
well,
do what you
one
want
of
to
the
do.
ones he
Live
dated
your life.
recently was Laura Prepon from 70s Show. 'Cause
Really?
She's a Scientologist
Yeah.
too.
Well, she's kind of like her.
Yeah.
I had a point here. I think I lost it sort of.
Tom Cruise. He's crazy, but
he is crazy, but I don't know. I mean,
he
I don't-
doesn't fall in the same category. But I'm
I don't
also choosy
Yeah.
about what I. But I use that one because Last Samurai I think is a very well done film in a lot of ways.
I've
It
not
has
seen that
it has its issues, but it's one of those movies that I'll throw on in the background and just watch, especially like if I'm sick or something.
it feels like a throwback film, like
Yeah.
a 60s film, like a Magnificent Seven, like a
Yeah, it's
yeah,
and it's one I have on DVD, so I don't have to go searching for something. And
yeah.
I don't know. I guess that was my point. If I had Seven on DVD, it would probably be a movie that I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
Even though Kevin
Yeah,
Spacey's in
I
it.
think your grandfather. I mean, I don't know. It's a hard call though, right? Like,
It is.
I think once you've seen it, you already watched it. I mean, you can't go back and unwatch it, right?
You broke the seal.
With the seal, the seventh seal, to
I've seen
name
that
drop a
film.
movie
Yeah, look
that
at
I've
you.
seen. Thank
You've seen
you.
the Seventh Seal?
Yeah.
Did you go back and watch it after you saw
The
Bill
new
and
one.
Ted's Excellent
The
Adventure
new
2?
one.
The new one.
Like, not the, whatever first one. Right? There's an old one.
Yeah,
Have you guys seen the Manchurian Candidate? The first one with
Frank Sinatra
Sinatra.
Mhm.
and
God,
Angela
man.
Lansbury.
What a crazy great movie that I did not see coming. Weird.
Sinatra had some films like that.
I've only seen this one. That's the one I've seen of his, honestly.
So have you ever heard the weird fact about Die Hard and him? He did a film that Die Hard is actually based on a series of books, and Frank Sinatra did one of those a film based on one of those books in like the late 60s. And so when Die Hard came around in 84, they had to go back and offer it to Frank Sinatra because he had played that role before and hope he turned it down before they
Oh
could give
my
it.
Wow.
God.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that fact because I'm like, that's fucked up. To
Can you
seem like a
imagine?
70-year-old Frank Sinatra trying to
Can you
with no shoes
imagine?
on. I now have a gun. Ho, ho, ho.
I did it my way,
Yeah,
mother.
welcome to the party, pal.
He's like got a cocktail in his hand.
Yeah.
Smoking.
Okay, so here's why I asked that question. Because the one who started all the Marvel relaunch of the new is Robert Downey Jr., who was very problematic.
Was he?
Yeah, drugs, alcohol.
Waking up in like neighbors' beds.
Yeah.
Like that's one of the reasons he got arrested, because he got he was on drugs and he just fell asleep in like his neighbor's daughter's bed or something, and they found him the next day. And he was arrested.
But it wasn't like sexual stuff, right?
No.
No.
So who
No, no.
cares? Drug stuff, like.
And he
I don't
got
know.
rehab, and
Yeah, he's fine. Like drugs doesn't bother me unless if you're not violent and not like sexually doing weird stuff. Like who cares? You're just doing drugs. I mean, I don't condone it, but like, I mean,
well, you have to also look at he was a teen in Hollywood
yeah,
in the 70s,
right.
late
Eight.
70s,
Yeah, late 70s, early
late 70s,
80s.
early 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not Charlie Sheen.
Wait, you got a
assume,
problem
right?
with Chuck Sheen?
Is he still alive?
Yes.
Huh.
Does he still have AIDS? He's got it. Yeah.
Do you have HIV or AIDS?
I think he has full-blown AIDS.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy crap! But now you can manage that, right? Or is that not true?
I don't know if full-blown
I don't know.
HIV they can manage.
Right.
Look at Magic Johnson.
Oh my gosh, we have got to talk about Magic Johnson and the Lakers. We've got to.
Oh,
It's so fascinating, man.
Oh, this
they
whole-
what
are
a fascinating-
exploding. Like the Lakers are.
Oh my
just-
gosh. Yeah. Yeah.
It's fascinating.
I'm
I'm excited for the NBA offseason.
Oh my god, dude! It's like seeing LeBron just like squander his late career at the Lakers. I kind of love it. It's like a
Yeah.
train wreck.
It really is.
It really is a glorious
Was that
train
pun
wreck.
intended or unintended?
Unintended.
He was in the Amy Schumer film Trainwreck.
Oh, intended.
We're gonna cut that out.
Also, he was fun in that movie too. I actually like LeBron. Like, he's just so arrogant. Like seeing him, and like, he's so like on his high horse. Like seeing him just like go to the Lakers, like, and they just implode. Like, it's the best, right?
It is,
the
but
best.
but they also have the chance next season if they brought in. I at
Kyrie
this
Irving?
point
Oh my God! Please God,
that would be amazing.
God.
There would also be justice.
God,
Yeah.
I
To watch
don't ask
them-
for a whole lot, but let me ask you this one: let Kyrie go to the Lakers. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Can you imagine
There'd be
the
a murder on
internal
a court.
drama?
There'd be a legit murder, like on TV on the court.
So who bounces the basketball off the back of whose head
Oh my God!
at
First.
that point? Whom's head? Yeah,
First.
I'm gonna give the points to LeBron on that one because
Kyrie's a nightmare. He's just the worst. Just the worst.
Yeah, talk about somebody you put up with a bunch of shit because he's a good athlete.
But then gives up on you
The
in
earth
the
is
playoffs
flat.
and like
Yeah.
loses you the chance. I mean,
Yeah.
I love it. Like, that's what you get, man. He's a selfish prick. Anyway,
Flat earther.
but like Magic Johnson, man, Magic like really screwed the whole pooch there. Did you hear how he quit? It was
Yeah.
so lame, dude. Like, and why he quit?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it all.
I didn't hear the why,
He's just soft.
like the official why.
He hates like being. He wants to go back to being like freewheeling, smiling. Magic Johnson is like glad handing.
So what he said is that he told him on the front end, he was like, I am still a businessman and have businesses to run. So I'm not going to be here all the time.
I mean, this is great, dude. This is
And he
amazing.
actually admitted that. Like, he was like, no, I'm not.
But he was also never there. Like he didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't go on, like recruiting or like scouting trips, which is kind of his whole job, like to scout
Yeah.
who they want to either
draft
or trade
trade for and
He basically he doesn't do anything, and then he wouldn't even like fire anybody or trade anybody. He felt bad for trading him. He wanted to be only the good guy.
Yep.
He could not be
the bad guy.
ever.
Huh.
He's like, yeah, I miss
But
like
he
I
played
miss
his
like
whole career with the Lakers,
Yeah.
I know.
so I think
But
he
also-
also came from a different era of
But also,
basketball.
but he had a 2-hour meeting with the owner, and didn't tell her he was quitting, and went to the media and said, "I'm out."
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Can you
I
imagine?
didn't realize he didn't tell them.
No.
Oh, no.
Didn't tell him a word. Not a word.
I watched that interview where they caught him in like the hallway or something, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm leaving," and they're like, "Does Jeannie Buss know?" And he's like, "I guess you'll find out."
Wow.
I mean, can you imagine?
Yeah,
Can you imagine quitting that way?
I
don't
kind of
know.
admire it. 'Cause it's like,
I don't know. I
holy
don't like
shit.
it. I don't like it.
No.
That's like dirty, man.
Yeah, that's a little.
I know.
You don't just quit on your boss without telling him.
Yeah, don't say that to me because I've had enough bosses that that's why I don't feel so bad because I'm like,
Anyway,
Okay, so
I
you
do
don't-
love it. I
You
love
don't?
it.
Okay, I'm gonna circle back around.
Okay.
Don't feel as bad about Robert Downey Jr.
No.
I think it's interesting, like Favreau's role and all that, because I think early on he was still remaining like a producer and helped write shit, and then once Joss Whedon came in, I felt like Favreau kind of got pushed out of that role,
Oh.
and then that's when Feige, he had quietly been doing it, but that's when he, after the Whedon thing kind of fell apart, he kind of stepped up and became more visual at that point.
Which is actually, I feel like, been really helpful for the Marvel films.
Yeah.
For, the head of the studio to say, yes, I'm taking.
Yeah.
Like, I am actively involved in all aspects of this.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
It is, but the only weird thing about that, and this goes back to the Edgar Wright Ant-Man thing, other than Guardians of the Galaxy and then Ragnarok, they don't really let filmmakers make the film they want because they're trying to make a big overarching story. So
Right.
that's been the argument about Marvel versus DC. DC's been more filmmaker friendly. Marvel's been more...
But do you think that's... I don't think that's worked to DC's favor
No.
because the films... Like, the stories might connect, maybe, loosely, but the
I'm
movies don't.
But I'm wondering with like Into the Spider-Verse, are they going to get to a point now to where they can do offshoots and let people do something interesting and it not really be tied technically to the Marvel? Because right now they're taking a hard pause. Them and the Star Wars universe are both like, we've been coming out with too many of these films too soon.
Yeah.
Agree.
So
Agreed.
we're going to pause and we're going to really think about what's next, which I think is a very smart decision.
I do too. I think that this next Spider-Man film will probably set the direction for Marvel,
Yeah.
for good or for bad.
Guys, hot take. Marvel is Mac. DC is Windows.
Jason's going to argue with you on that one.
Just like keeping things in their universe, like being so controlling.
Yeah, I would agree with
locking
that.
it down, walling it off. Where DC is like, hey man, any developer can come in and like basically do whatever.
Yeah,
whatever you
build
want.
whatever you
yeah,
want.
that's
Yeah.
true. But I
No,
wonder...
I'm not saying there's no quality control there. I mean,
There's
it's-
been interesting things. Like there's been points where Tarantino has come in and said, I want to do a Marvel film, but I want to do it my
Can you
way.
imagine?
But he's also said the same thing about James Bond. Like he wants to come in and do a James Bond film, but he wants to do it his way.
Is he like on the wane?
He is, from what he said, this film coming out that looks really good is his next to last film.
Next to last,
said-
penultimate, we call that.
He said he's going to do 10 films and he's done. He's done. Which seems odd to me. Because he kind of has...
He only has 8 so far.
yeah.
Wow.
Because he has carte
Man.
blanche and he does whatever the fuck he wants and he makes a ton of money on every film.
But I mean, maybe he's done saying stuff. Who knows? I mean, maybe he's just kind of like, I'm rich and
But it also, from what I've understood
Retire.
and listened to him over the years, it's not like he had a roadmap of, okay, 10 years from now I'm going to do Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
right.
So that's why I think it's weird. Like I think if he had a plan, he was like, I have these 10 stories to tell and then I'm done, I would understand it more.
Yeah,
I think he's worried about getting tired.
Yeah.
Like, not him personally, but like his stories getting tired.
And his style too. I mean, it's a very distinct style.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like it was like brilliant back in the '90s, and now it's kind of so copied and so diluted a little bit.
Well, that's...
Like Hateful Eight was not. I didn't really love that movie too
I'm
much.
odd in Tarantino in that I've liked, I think, 2 of his films.
Oh boy, I'm slow.
Three of his films.
Which 3?
And I'll do them in order. I think Jackie Brown's his best film. I think Reservoir Dogs is under that, and then Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
I think it was, I saw Inglourious Basterds too late, and there was too much hype, that by the time I saw it, I didn't like it as much as everybody had built it up.
I thought the characters in Inglourious Bastards were original in a way that hasn't been.
I thought Brad Pitt was Everybody talked about Christoph Waltz, but I thought Brad Pitt was fucking awesome in that
Yeah.
film.
I've never felt. Oh, I can't recall feeling more tense in a movie than Inglourious Basterds. Like
I can see
like
that.
maybe 2 or 3 times, like at least twice. I felt so much tension.
Yeah, I would
Like
agree with that.
I mean, intense.
I think I also knew Hitler died. Like I knew some turns in the film where I was like, well, shit. If I had not known that, I probably would have liked it more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I did not
feel
like. I did not like Kill Bill 1 or 2.
Oh wow, really?
So
I liked moments into both of those films, but I didn't like them.
So that's one that rewatching hurt me. I had seen both movies once. I saw them in the theater.
Yeah.
I recently I started to rewatch the first one, and I made it about halfway through, and I was just like, I just can't, like, the story is so broken up,
Yeah.
and I understand that that's the point,
Yeah.
but because it became 2 movies, and knowing that I wasn't going to reach the end hurt the rewatch of that film to a point that I didn't finish it.
And I will say I liked the second one more than I liked the first one. I thought the second one was
moved.
slower. Well, it was slower when it got to the end with her and David Carradine, and I appreciated that.
Right, but it moved to that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rather than the first one started very slow and then moved very quickly to the
Well,
end.
the first movie was a middle movie. It was a Empire, you know. I think I skipped the first of the trilogy and went to the second and third.
Well, it was supposed to be one movie.
Yeah, but
And
I'm
it just
I'm
got
saying,
to be
like,
too long.
The way they broke it up, like
Yeah, the way they broke it up,
became a middle movie.
it
you
did.
know?
It did.
And so the end of the first one, you're like, well, that's unsatisfying.
Yeah, and I would.
But if you watch them back to back right now,
They would. I think I would still enjoy them, but
yeah. If you watch them as one movie, I think it's better.
yeah.
But
And
that's
I would
like
agree
that's
with
like
that.
4 hours of your life or
Right.
5, whatever. It's a long day.
Yeah. And I'll do that with Lord of the Rings, but that's about it.
See, that's another one I did not like Lord of the Rings as much. But I think I love Greg and Cher, but I think it's also being around people who are so immersed in it and we're like, these are the greatest films ever made.
I don't think they're the greatest films ever made.
Yeah.
They're one of the better book adaptations that I've seen.
Okay.
It was the second one went off the rails a little bit, but they had to do that. Like, I understand why, but the first and third films were very true to the source material.
Okay, here's where I'm going to wrap it back to Marvel. Do you think it's good or bad that essentially to watch Infinity War Endgame you have to watch at least 12 films to enjoy it as much as you would? Do you think the future is better in trying to do bigger long-form stories, or should they try and get down to
I think
singular stories?
So for me, because Marvel is a comic book series that has been 50 plus years, you can't snapshot that.
Right.
I actually think that that's Marvel understanding something that DC still doesn't.
Okay.
Is they're not trying they're trying to encompass more of the history of the comics
Okay.
to collect that audience, as well as people who just like going and seeing action movies and superheroes and all of that. They play to both, whereas DC films have typically done one or the other. And because of that, they either don't make a complete movie or they make a movie that hang on.
Yeah. Well, that's like, I even think Nolan, when he did the Batman movies, he didn't set out to do a trilogy.
Right.
It's the first one was so successful, he was like, oh shit, I've got to do a trilogy now.
Wait, you don't think so? Yes.
I don't think as many people expected Batman Begins to be as successful as it was.
I don't either, but I think that going in with a character like Batman, he had to think he was doing more than one film.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't have done an origin story otherwise.
Yeah. But I almost think at that point, how would you end? Because everything at that point was origin stories. If you go back and look at the first X-Men, or you look at, well, no,
Like 3 Spider-Man movies.
yeah,
Yeah. But I mean, I think that's everybody was doing. We're gonna get so much, and then we're gonna have a start and an end to the story. Whereas Marvel took the idea of we're going to start the story,
right,
and then we're gonna walk it until this particular story ends, no matter how many movies it takes.
okay,
And I don't think that it works for most story arcs. Like Dune is coming out.
Ooh, yeah.
There is a ton of source material, but I don't think that they're going to make, a movie per book. I don't see that as being a world that they're going to create and go.
The first book right now, have you heard?
I don't know.
The stopping point?
I don't know the stopping point with that one, but I don't think that they're going to do the kind of world that Marvel has created, because Marvel created a universe, an entire,
right,
and they can just drop in and out of it anytime they want.
Mm-hmm.
I think Villeneuve is signed for 2 films right now. I don't think they're looking at it as like a trilogy. But it's weird, like, because it goes back to the Star Wars films. Like, they got the 2 guys who did Game of Thrones, and they're like, we're giving you all a trilogy. And my problem with that is before they even wrote one single character or one word, it's like, let's do one good film and see how this can expand, or write all 3 films. Like, they just gave them a trilogy without, but there may be more back end on that. It's like, we're going to do this storyline, and it's going to take us 3 films.
I figure that that's going to be a specific storyline within the Star Wars universe. So again, that's the Marvel track, right?
Right.
That's exactly what Marvel has done. Is all of these films exist in the same universe. They just used the group of the Avengers to bring all of those together at different points in time.
Right.
But I don't think that you could do that with Star Wars, for instance.
Okay.
Just because you don't have the source material that you can say, okay, we're working our way towards this.
Right.
And we don't necessarily care how long it takes us to get here. We just know we need to be at the end at this point.
Okay.
And I think that's what Marvel did in a way that I don't know that it's repeatable.
Okay. Now, with what we talked about earlier, with like Last Jedi and everything, are you all excited for the upcoming third Star Wars film? And do you think they will end it in a good way?
I'm not excited. I'll watch it. I'll sit in the theater, but I'm not excited for it. And, like, I don't have any hope that they'll do the right thing. I mean, I don't know.
It won't. Like, I am excited for it just because I grew up with those movies and love that universe. But there's a lot that they would have to do to wrap it. So I don't know. I actually don't think that it will be an end to the Star Wars storylines that we know.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's going to end the Skywalker storyline, which has actually been 9 movies.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the point of the film. So as long as they wrap up that particular storyline, I will be happy.
It's funny, like this. I read Dune this year for the first time. Like, how much Star Wars took from Dune is pretty incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be fun to see how they kind of tackle that, like, Jedi type stuff.
Yeah.
In the movie.
Yeah. I think Dune has a lot of hope of setting up a world that they could drop in and out of.
Yeah.
There's another one, Asimov's.
The Foundation trilogy.
Yeah. because there's actually like 12 of those books.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
But the trilogy is what everybody, and honestly, it's probably the better of the films or of the books. But it's a whole world that jumps through time, and something like that would be another way that you could do a Marvel type.
Yeah.
But it's not going to. You still don't have the depth of source material and depth of character range.
Okay.
So that's.
Now, I've not seen the third one, but one that I think is interesting that they started with one film and they did a good job expanding the universe is John Wick. Like, the second film is a lot better than it should have been. And from what I understand, this third film is great too. And I thought that was going to be it, but I'm already hearing that there may be a fourth film.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
So the timeline on John Wick, like, between 1 and 2, what is the timeline like in the universe?
It's like a week.
Yeah.
And I think
And
the
2
third
and 2
one
and 3 is
picks
the
up
same
from the
day or something, right?
The third one starts from the end of the second film.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like, so one thing I will say, the new Terminator film, the guy directing it is going back to Marvel, is the guy who did Deadpool, which is why I also give it a little bit more credit. It's
Yeah.
Tim Miller. I was like, oh God, that could be interesting.
It could be interesting. But with Deadpool, you had Ryan Reynolds,
Yeah.
who wanted to do that,
Right.
Yeah.
and that's a very different thing than,
Do you think with them buying Fox that they're going to try and stifle shit like that? Or do you think they're going to try and create... I'm curious when they're going to introduce, or if they will introduce, like Fantastic Four or the X-Men. From what Feige said, he does not have X-Men on the roadmap yet. Which I find interesting.
I think they will walk away from X-Men for a while.
Yeah.
I think that they will let enough time pass, because the characters that you want to use are established actors.
Right.
And some of them, like Wolverine, you can't recast right now.
Right.
So I think you have to give it 5-10 years before you can come back to those movies.
I think that's one thing they've done smarter more recently, they're playing the long game, not the short game. They're not like, well, Wolverine's a super popular character, so we need to shoehorn him in somehow.
Right. And I think that they will also let Deadpool go, because everything that I've read, Reynolds doesn't want to do a third film.
Smart.
And so as long as that stays true, that's not a character you can recast.
Yeah.
And 2 is perfect. Like, it was a good ending.
Yeah.
Wrapped it up. It's beautiful. It was sweet.
Yeah.
I thought 2 was better than 1, actually.
Yeah, I would agree.
I love 1, but maybe the best sequel. It was the best, like, superhero sequel maybe ever.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I won't disagree because I'm going to say Winter Soldier, but I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Of an independent character. Well, that's like...
I just love Deadpool so much. Like, I mean, not the comic book stuff, but it is, like, Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool is so great.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
perfect.
Well, did you grow up reading comic books?
Yeah, a little bit.
Did you DC, Marvel? Did it matter?
Mostly Marvel, but I didn't really pick and choose. I mean, but I tended to go to Marvel more than DC.
Okay. You?
I was Superman. I read the Superman line.
See, I think one good thing Superman is one of the hardest characters to make a good film out of. And I think one great thing Marvel did was what they did with Captain America, because I think it falls in the same traps. Like, they did a great job, and I didn't think he would do a good job in that role because of what he had been in before.
Yeah.
Like, that made me nervous. But they did a hell of a job.
They did. They did. And that is Marvel has done a fantastic job casting.
Right.
In a way that, like, I do think that the Marvel universe and the movies probably will change how movies with source material like that are cast.
Okay.
Like that, I think that will be a lasting impact that Marvel has done. Is it will change casting. I don't think you'll get another Jack Reacher that's not similar to the character in the book. I think
Yeah.
anytime they're going off of a book, especially a book or a comic book or something that has physical descriptions of characters, I think that studios have learned, okay, we actually do need to pay attention to this because the people who know that source material care.
Yeah.
On the flip side, Hugh Jackman is actually an awful cast for Wolverine
He is.
because of his size.
Yes.
But
And Australian, so criminal.
in going back to something you said earlier about,
But not Marvel.
but what yeah, that's true. That's Fox. Do I consider the Marvel films great films? I think going back through all of them, I think the best superhero film is Logan. I think Logan as a
Yeah,
story,
it's good.
but it took all those years
Right.
to build to Old Man Logan and to do that properly.
Right.
Like, for example, if my wife saw Logan without, she's not, you
Yeah.
know, she loved Deadpool.
Yeah.
Just by itself,
Mhm.
loved it. She might actually enjoy Logan because I mean, she knows of like whatever Wolverine or whatever, right? Yeah, this being
Yeah.
our age, and
Yeah.
you kind of know, but like, it's just a good film. It's like it's about aging, about dying, and about whatever. Like, it's a good movie,
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
And I
that
think
a normie can enjoy.
Yeah, and I think the only Marvel movie that that I would say falls into that same is the first Iron Man,
Yeah, agree.
because you don't need to know anything going into
Yeah.
it, and it has a story arc that it's a redemption story arc.
Mm-hmm.
None of the other Marvel films, I feel like, could do that because of Iron Man, but also did that with characters. I mean, even Black Panther, which I really enjoyed Black Panther and Doctor Strange both, but they were written and produced with an idea of fitting them into a world.
Right.
And so the Marvel universe is something that I don't know that you can just pick up and drop into.
Mm-hmm.
The way that a movie like Logan, which was a standalone.
Yeah.
Yes, the films that came before mattered, but they also didn't.
Right.
It made you care about those characters quicker.
Right.
Like you had buy-in from the start.
Right.
Which I think the only part that kind of bummed me out about Black Panther was that's one of the best villains in a Marvel film, and he died. Killmonger.
Still don't actually think he died, but okay.
Okay. And even like what's his name, Claw, was great in that film. Like,
Yes.
what they did with villains was great. in
Yes.
that film. And
Is there a reason why Killmonger shouldn't have been the king of?
Wakanda?
Yeah.
No.
No. And there's been Mark Bernard came out and said the biggest problem he had with Black Panther was the Black Panther.
Yeah, me too.
He was like,
think, yeah.
he was boring. Like
Yeah.
he was just indecisive the entire film, which you needed that. But it was just like he should have gotten to that point earlier. But it's the same thing about he has to fit into the world.
Right. And if you fit him in too quickly, well, I mean, that story starts in Winter Soldier, right? Or Civil War.
Yeah.
And so even that story, you kind of start with him already a character. Like,
Right.
you don't have to have seen that film, but that film gives you context on why he's indecisive and why he's...
Right. Just doing what they've always done.
Right. So...
How was he in Winter Soldier? Like, what was that?
Civil War.
I'm sorry,
War,
Civil War.
Yeah.
Like, what was his take? Was he in that movie?
Yeah. So he actually has
He has a prominent role in Civil War.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
His dad got blown up, and they thought it was Bucky that did it, the Winter Soldier.
Oh, right.
And then it was him chasing after Bucky and Captain America trying to defend him.
Mm.
The entire film was Captain America and Bucky versus everyone else.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And
Pretty
then
much.
they started roping in more people, but the crux of it from beginning to end is, no, this is my friend. He's a good man.
Yeah.
Which I actually like Civil War more the second viewing than I did the first viewing. For whatever reason. I don't know if the bar was set too high or what, but I like how they introduce Spider-Man. Like, they introduce big characters in a small way in that film that was really well done.
Yeah. Well, and Marvel's good at that. Introducing characters that matter. Vision.
Yeah. Vision, Falcon, even in Winter Soldier.
Yep.
The oddest one, well, we've talked about Hawkeye, but also Black Widow has been hard in those films because she's still just a human
Right.
fighting amongst literal gods.
Yeah, it's the Hawkeye conundrum.
Yep. I was hoping we were going to get to see more of her story.
They're still saying they're going to do a movie with her. From what I
don't see
understand, it's
how.
going to be a prequel, but
I don't see how.
no.
I mean, she is a human. She has aged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you go back when she joined S.H.I.E.L.D., I mean, you're talking about when she's a teenager.
Yeah. Which is funny because Jennifer Lawrence did a film last year.
Red Sparrow.
Yeah, which was essentially a take on Black Widow. That's one of those that's like, how the fuck did they get away? I'm sure there's...
Is it good or is it not good?
I didn't see it. I think the reviews were pretty bad. And I think it was one of those things where she was naked in it, and that was the main story, as opposed to the actual movie. Sad as it is, but that's the truth. Like,
I don't know. I think the Marvel, I enjoyed the wrap up of Endgame. For me, it ended my interest to some degree in the Marvel films.
yeah.
I'll see Spider-Man. I don't know that I'll go see it in theaters. I've just never been a huge Spider-Man fan, but I guess that's the difference.
Yeah, I grew up reading Spider-Man, so Spider-Man is...
Well, no, I guess that's what I mean, though, is I went and saw the Marvel films in the theaters because I knew they were building to Endgame.
Okay.
Whereas we're outside of that now, and I just don't have the drive to, it's no longer I want to go see it so that I see how the story progresses.
Right. So here's a question in Endgame that's come up a lot is Tony Stark had a great ending, but there's still a lot of people that struggle with Captain America's ending in Endgame. And I've heard not a newer take, but since we last talked about it, about how that's not Captain America now. He still had one Pym particle, and that's him from the future coming back to that moment. That's what the writers have said. And that's another weird thing is I've listened to a lot of interviews, and some of it I was like, I kind of would have liked to have had the not knowing
Yeah.
more than the knowing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So in that vein, with how we know everything about films, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Bad thing.
Yeah.
A little magic, man. A little mystery. You know? I read a question the other day. It's like, do you think that future Captain America, who's went back in the past his whole life, did he stop 9/11? And is that, you know what I'm saying? Is that a thing that happened when he went back in time? And I mean, in theory, he maybe should have. But did he?
I think from what I understand, Yeah, that's been a lot of people struggle with that, like because of all of the things. But then there's also people who brought up the fact that says if he really wanted to come back and do a one-off film, we could see him fighting as Nomad in like the 70s and doing shit. But it's like, but how does that change the world that they've built in Endgame? And
Right.
will they do that?
Well, and see, I guess that's my argument that maybe he did. So kind of what I always thought was he went back with, you know, however many particles. He could go back and live 100 different lives with Peggy, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's so he could just keep reliving, and he would age,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
So, but he knows the future that he decides to live out his life. He can't make any of those changes because then it changes the fact that they win at the end.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Doctor Strange theory.
Yeah, the one.
And you also have to put everything back the way you
Right.
found it. So I don't know. I was glad they gave him an ending.
Yeah.
That one and Thor's ending to me were, well, and Black Widow's were strange.
Yeah.
Because and I could be wrong about Thor, but I get the sense that he's done.
What was
Yeah.
Black Widow's?
She
died.
died. She
For the
jumped
Soul
off the
Stone.
Oh.
cliff for the Soul Stone.
That's also
Oh, right.
the
That's right.
funny
Yeah, yeah,
paradox
yeah.
of
True.
that he had to go back to Red Skull and give him back
Right.
the Soul Stone. Like, how awkward is that?
Yeah. Steve Rogers, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Oh.
I just can't quit you.
Do you have to give the Soul Stone back?
Yes, because remember, he had to put all the stones back in place.
Right, but do you have... So the Soul Stone, though, anybody can claim.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So you wouldn't actually have to probably go put it back.
Well, the
Anyway.
other question is, did he put the stone back into Natalie Portman?
Oh boy.
Talk about problematic.
True. True.
Just hold still.
Yeah. Okay, so not excited.
But I'll see it. I mean, I'd have to. You know.
I'm curious what they're going to do next. Like, I think the next slate is to do the Inhumans, which is it the Inhumans? It's
no,
some other
it's
or is it New Gods or
the Eternals
Eternals?
is what they've talked about doing.
Who's that?
They're celestial beings.
Oh, snooze.
Yeah, that was the big thing. Is like Guardians finally introduced space into the
Mhm.
world, and now that you have that, and you have Captain Marvel.
And Thor, who's from space.
No, he's from another universe.
Yeah, but it's like space. I mean, it's like, right? It's up there. It's out there.
It's the center.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
New Asgard.
Yeah.
No, old Asgard. New Asgard's
I like that they introduced New Asgard. I
Yeah.
thought that was cool because that was a throwback to Ragnarok when Anthony Hopkins was like, "This could be where New Asgard is." There was one thing I think Jason and I talked about it. A thing I struggled with in Civil War was why was he defending Bucky so much
Mhm.
about killing Tony's parents.
Mhm.
But then when I rewatched, I think it's Age of Ultron. It's one of the films. It's like 30 seconds at the end of the film. Him learning. Or no, it's at the end of Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
He gets a file on Bucky and he sees. And I was like, they didn't make a big show of that. But then if you miss that and you're watching Civil War, you're like, why the fuck is he still defending this guy?
Yeah.
Like, he killed his friend's parents.
Mhm.
Like, it was weird. And it set funny with me until I rewatched and saw that scene. I was like, fuck, I forgot about this scene.
What scene?
The scene where he gets handed Bucky's file of
That
all the
tells
bad
him-
shit that he's done.
Yeah. That tells. So Captain America knew that was the reason that Howard Stark had died.
Yeah. And I think we've talked about this separately. So it is weird also being, I hate this term, but a grown-ass man and sitting in Endgame and getting a little bit emotional in a few scenes. To where I think I asked you, and I think I asked you after we watched it, like, all right, how many times did you almost, like, well up or you get, like, emotional during Endgame? And I think it was, like, the on the right. When it's
On the
just-
left.
On the left, when it's Captain America and he was going to take on Thanos on his own. And then he says on the left, you can hear Falcon crinkling in on the left, and then all the things open, all the portals open up.
Right.
And he says, Avengers Assemble.
Mm-hmm.
And then the hammer.
The hammer was great.
Yeah.
That was great.
The hammer was great. The only two scenes that got me were Tony's ending.
I am
Iron Man.
Yeah.
That one, I was like, oh, right in the feels. uh,
I even got that a little bit when he went back and saw Howard Stark. And
yeah, that was a
Oh,
sweet moment.
yeah.
how Howard Stark was like, I'm not sure, I'll love him with everything, even though they had a contemptuous relationship that was shown in Civil War.
The other scene that got me was when Scott finds his daughter.
Oh, yeah.
Like that one, I was like, damn.
Who?
Okay. Ant-Man, when he finds his daughter.
Oh yeah.
When he knocks on the door and she comes to the door.
And
she's
she's
grown up.
5 years older.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, and here's another thing that's kind of came back that a lot of people are shitting on, that people our age should not be so emotionally invested in these films.
Yeah. But it was our childhood. Like we got to see our childhood come to life in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And we've sat through God knows how many, 48 hours worth of film to
Whoa.
get to this point.
Yeah. It's deep.
Yeah.
It also is kind of a, well, but I mean, you do the same thing with books.
Sure.
You know.
I mean, it's like, you read Harry Potter, and at the end of that, people get
Yeah.
emotional, like, no matter what. I mean, I don't know. It's like they're all movies. Like, why does Sophie's Choice get you if you're grown? Like,
Yeah.
emotions are emotions. Who cares where it comes from?
Yeah.
They're all fictional characters. There's no Sophie in real life
Oh,
that we know of. I mean,
and a big one for me, or one like that for me, is Big Fish. The end of Big Fish still gets me to this day. Have you ever seen Big Fish?
it's been a long time.
That last 15 minutes is just Jesus Christ, man. I remember sitting next to, I went to see that with Greg and Sharon. One of her friends was in town, and I could see her shaking from sobbing next to me. And I'm just in there like, fucking hold it. Telling myself, like, hold it together, man. God damn. Like, it's so. Yeah.
What was the end of that?
About his son finally, spoiler alert, finally, being like, believing in his dad.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And it's taken him back through all that time
Mm-hmm.
and seeing all the people,
Hmm.
even though he didn't believe in it
Mm-hmm.
because he thought he was full of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's very well done.
Hmm.
That's another one who shit the bed, Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Like, I think Big Fish is the pinnacle. But I also know, like, that was right around the time, like, his dad died. And that's why he chose that book to do.
Yeah.
That's what I find interesting with all these, like, the Russo brothers are done. They're not going to do another Marvel film. And it's like, at this point, I don't blame them. Like,
Yeah.
why?
Why?
Yeah.
Also, it's raining.
It's raining.
Oh,
okay.
it is raining. Weird.
I think that's going to call it.
All
Thank you,
right.
guys.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you.
That was fun.
I don't have too much to cut out on this one. Just pretty much all of what Sean said.
Yeah. Good luck.